can get a couple more people to join us. Um, but yeah, how's everyone doing? How's your Saturday going? Let us know in the chat. What have you been up to today? Did you do anything fun? I'm really excited about this session. I feel like I've done, well, I'm not going to say a lot of webinars. I've done a few webinars in the past and they've touched on different topics, right? I've done webinars about growing your career. I've done webinars about getting into entrepreneurship. I've done webinars about financial literacy, which some of you have joined in the past before. Some of you are current community members or past community members or aspiring community members. So I've done different webinars across just different ranges and topics, but this is actually my first webinar publicly on options trading. And I'm really, really excited because I feel like there's just a lot of opportunities for options trading, especially for Nigerians in Nigeria and Nigerians in the diaspora. The reason why this is my target market in a lot of ways is because I have seen like what trading can do to your finances. I have seen how the kind of freedom that trading can give to you. And there is a saying that 90% of traders fail. I think that what happens really is not that they fail, it is that they give up. And for me, just like fixing my psychology, which is still a work in progress, like my current community members will tell you, like I tell them all the time, like trading psychology, which we're going to touch a little bit on today as well, is a work in progress. You're never fully done. You're still, it's like you're consistently improving, you're consistently working on yourself, right? But it has changed my life so much. And those of you that have followed me on social media for a long time, right? You know me, I've always been the corporate girly. I've always been the, I'm gonna move from Amazon to Meta to Google to Netflix. Like my entire life goal has always consistently been to climb the corporate ladder, to maybe someday be the COO of Meta, right? Like that has always been my life goal, right? But that changed, right, when I started to, see the way that corporate America has been treating a lot of Black women very recently. That's one piece of it. But the other piece is that I decided, a lot of you that have been following me, this is a call for women, so you all understand, right? I've been child free for many years. I was like, I don't want a child of my own. I don't want a child of my own. But very recently, in the last 1 year, I did decide that I actually do want to have a child. And that actually really put me in a very thinking position because I am like, if I want to have a child, like I know, and I know women do it, right? You can have a child and build your career. That is something that is very possible. But for me, I wanted a little bit more. I wanted to build a legacy, something that I can leave for my child, or something that, something that can also help other women too. And for me, that is where Aura came in, right? Building a platform that does not exist right now in Nigeria. Nothing like that exists right now in Nigeria. So building a platform that would provide opportunities for not just Nigerians, but West Africans as a whole, right? For everyone that lives in West Africa to provide you the opportunity to trade the US stock market and not just buying, because investments are great. I'm an investment girl. You all know that, like pro investment, day in, day night, right? Day in, day out. But trading is also really great because you can invest and trade. It doesn't have to be one or the other. There's a lot of personal finance gurus on social media that'll be like, oh, you should only invest. Yes, you should invest. There is no questions about that. Investing is the baseline. If you're investing, if you're trading and not investing, you're doing it the wrong way, right? So you have to invest first, but then trading can be another source of income for you as well, too, right? Investment is more long term, trading is more short term, right? So, and for me personally, I believe in combining all strategies. It doesn't have to be one strategy, right? You can plan for your future and also plan for your present. I am team, there's a lot of people that be like, oh, you got to cut your cost and budget and do this and don't travel and don't do this and don't do that. And those are all great advice. But let's be honest, we all want to live a good life. Man, you want to buy that nice handbag, you want to travel with your friends. You want to go on that vacation with your boo. You want to buy nice things for your children. You want to change your children's education. You want to take them to better schools. Some of you that live in Nigeria, you want to send your kids abroad to study. Those of you that live abroad, you want to send your kids maybe to Hong Kong or Japan or like just different places for different reasons. And you need that money now. You don't need it in your when you're 50 or when you're 60, when you're too old to jump on some flights. Like we need the money now. So like, yeah, we can invest for our retirement, but What about the now, right? What about the now, now, now? What about the nice Birkin bag that I want to buy? Who's going to fund that, right? What about the trip to Tokyo that I want to take my niece on? Who's going to fund that? My niece's birthday is next month. I need to fly her somewhere for her birthday. Who is going to fund that, right? Am I going to wait till when I'm 70 to start to enjoy my hard work? No. So those are all the reasons for me why I think that investment, long-term investment is only one part of the game. It is not the full picture. It is not a full game. It is one half of it. Trading is the other half. I believe in combining multiple things. So there's a TGM mantra. And for those of you that don't know, the TGM is the girls manual. That is my company. I'm the founder of TGM. So the girls manual mantra, we have a mantra, and the mantra says you need a 9 to 5, you need the investments, you need a trading, you need a side hustle, you need everything to get to the financial position that you want in life. And there are some people that are okay with average, and there's nothing wrong in being okay with average. There's some people that are like, oh, I don't want so much money. I just want to be able to pay my bills. That's okay. But my community is for the girls that want more out of their lives. It's for the girls that want to travel, that want to buy expensive things, that wants to live bougie and live well. That is who my community is for, right? For people that are like, oh, there's nothing wrong. Again, like I said, absolutely nothing wrong in wanting little from life. But if you want more from life, this is for you. This is your space. This is where you have to be, right? Because everything that I'm going to do or teach you is to push you forward. Everything, all the ideas and the suggestions and everything I'm going to give you is to move you ahead and to move you forward. So there are communities that will teach you how to be satisfied and how to be okay with little from life. I'm sorry, we don't do little over here. No, 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 no. I want you to travel. I would like, do you know how happy I get when TGM girls are like, Mia, I'm in this country, I'm on this trip, I'm on this trip. Like, it makes me so happy. Like the messages that I get on a weekly basis from TGM girls, it's the because it's not easy running a community. It's what pushes me every day because like I've seen so many lives change. And like sometimes I ask myself, I'm like, am I really doing the right thing? Like, am I really actually making impact? And then I'll get a message from someone, or some of the ladies like, oh, we're doing this, or we did this together. Oh, I just got a better job, Mia. Oh, I just made this from trading, Mia. Oh, I just did this. And like, yeah, the lives are being changed. And that for me is the most important impact that I can make for my community, right? And with Aura by TGM, the app that we're working on, Charles and I, my partner is on this call. We're going to do introduction a little bit. And the app that we're bringing on is going to be that game changer because now you're not just, now we're not just giving you the education, we're also giving you the pathway to actually using that education to fund your lifestyle. And for me, that is very important. So again, for the girls around me, you cannot be around me and be mediocre. That is just not acceptable in any way. There is no mediocre living, there's no mediocre life. You are going to go on expensive vacations with the money that you're going to get from either trading or the side also you're going to start. You are going to buy new things for your parents. You're going to change your parents' life. You're going to change your siblings' life. As long as you're around me, that is what is going to not an overnight success, but like I told TGM girls when I started this company slightly over a year ago, as long as you follow the blueprints, you just have to trust me. As long as you follow that blueprint, it is going to work out for you. And it's worked out for a lot of the ladies. So, and I'm hoping that those of you on this call that are still thinking or rethinking about the community, although you can start to really think about the different ways that you can start to change your life. You don't have to join TGM. You just have to change your mindset first. It starts with the mindset. The mindset is the first thing because there's so many people that are stuck in oh they don't believe that some things are possible. Let's start with that. I remember when I had a call with a couple of ladies a few months back, and I was telling them that I have a mentee in Nigeria that makes $100,000 a year. She's 29. And they were like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. I was like, do you want me to bring her on the call for you? Like, what are you talking about? My mentee makes $100,000 a year in Nigeria. She is 29. She exists. And she's like, I have mentees that are making 30, 40, $50,000 a year in Nigeria. But when you tell yourself that these things don't exist, this thing is impossible, of course it's not going to be possible for you. That is why you have to place yourself in rooms and in positions and in places where people that are already living this life exist, right? One of my other mentees too, which some of you know because she's a little bit more, on social media than my other mentees, Chioma, right? Chioma, Chioma, moved into tech. Chioma Chioma found a company that relocated her all the way from Nigeria to the Middle East, and she's living her best life right now in Qatar. And like our company pays for like everything, like everything. Like if she wants a nanny, they're gonna pay for it. Like she has like an amazing place. Like my partner was in Qatar a couple of months ago, and I told him I was like, you have to go see Chioma, like you have to go out and take her out for lunch and everything. But like my point being that like you have to place yourself in positions and in rooms where the people that are already doing this exist. And Chioma has a mentorship program. So for those of you that are interested in going abroad, check her out, go find her on social media. But like my point is that there are women that are living this life that you want. Many of them are not on social media. They're not showing up on social media. They're just living their quiet life and gathering their money and keeping their coins and using the coins to improve the lives of their friends. And we have some of these women in the community. We have some of these women like so as my mentee. So my point being that the first step in life for everything, not just options trading, just in life overall, the first step it starts with the mindset. I remember when one of our community members, Yams, was telling us about a somebody that got a really nice job in Nigeria. My point just being that like they're just like even right here in America, right? Like I remember like when I got my first six-digit job, right? I had people on Facebook telling me that it is impossible for me to graduate and make and get $100,000. My first salary was $120,000. And then I moved to California and then I saw that people were earning 400, 500,000. And I was like, why can't I earn this? But I never thought it was possible too until I saw people in California that were earning that amount. And I was like, oh shit, I actually short played myself. And I was in a community of other Nigerians that were telling me that $100,000 was not possible. And then I moved to California and I was seeing people younger than me, my age mates, talking about $400,000 salary, $500,000 salary. You can see how being in the right rooms can change your mind. And I was like, if these people can do it, I can do it. And that's how I changed my career and I eat my goal that I wanted for myself. And then when I moved from being a career girl, when I moved into rooms that there were entrepreneurs that were making a million, 2 million, $5 million a year. It also expanded my mind. I was like, oh shit, this is possible, right? So that is what being in the right rooms can do for you because the things that you always thought was impossible, when you see others do it, it expands your mind. And then you go, I need to rearrange my life. First step first, I want to rearrange my life. I want to make the right choices, the right decisions, the right things. Like same thing with the UK. There's a lot of people that go to the UK and they're like, oh, it's not possible for you to get a job in the UK. You have to do this when you graduate. You have to do that. Like, have you seen the UK girls in our community? Have you seen the jobs that they're getting? Like, so there's still a lot of girls in the community that are, in the UK that are trying to find jobs. But like, I have no doubt in my heart that because they are in the right rooms, but because they have seen other girls within TGM get amazing jobs in the UK, they know that it is possible for them and they're working towards it. So that is what being in the right room, the right space, can do for you. That is what community is about. And that is why community is so important, especially for those people that don't have the right friendships. Community is what would be that game changer for you. So I've spoken enough. That introduction was extremely long. So we're just gonna go into our slides for today, ladies. So we're gonna try to definitely do what's it called? Like we're gonna definitely try to do question and answers at the end because I know that a lot of people will probably have some questions and we will try, excuse me. And we would definitely try to make that available for everyone and take as many questions as we can. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Welcome to the TGM webinar on options and futures decoded. Today, I want to give you everything, all the tools that you can use because on Monday, I want you to wake up on Monday and decide you want to trade because you've gotten enough knowledge from today for you to take your first step into paper trading on Monday, right? So this is a 90-minute introduction for women who want their money to work as hard as they do. There's gonna be no jargons, there's no gatekeeping. I'm gonna explain it to you the way that you can understand it. So we were supposed to have 1,000 women signed up for this. So I want you to get comfortable. Go and pour yourself a drink. This is going to be a very fun class. Use the chat room for everything that you want. Even as you're having questions, post it in the chat room so that we can come back to it later, right? You can screenshots, you can take screenshots, you can take notes, feel comfortable. We're going to make this as fun for you as we possibly can. So, two guides, two tutors. So, my name is Mia. Many of you know me on Facebook as Omotoyosi. I am the founder and CEO of the Girls Manual. My background is in big tech, finance, and strategic finance. I trade index options, and I built TGM to be the room that I wish I had growing up. I wish I had when I came into this country. Charles is my partner. He's the co-founder of Aura. And he's also a futures and options tutor within TGM Trades. And I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hi guys. Thanks Mia. Like nice introduction. Hello everyone. I think a bunch of you probably know me anyway because I've been in view for a minute. Been working with Mia for as long as we can remember. I think we've been good friends over a decade. I generally trade options, but I'm focusing now obviously on futures. My background is in finance and in technology. We incidentally worked at the same company. Myself and Mia worked over at Amazon. Haven't been training for over 7 years. I'm just gonna try and mute. Yep, and mute gift. Um, and what we want to do here is just to provide fundamentals for you guys. It's the simplest and basic approach, okay, to trading. And Mia sort of touched on a few points, and I'll just focus on obviously what Mia said to you. When it comes to money, and it's often difficult for us to understand what some of the people that have been successful, what they're doing with their money, but their footprints and their guidance for us. It's just that oftentimes because they're so busy, they don't share it. Now, if you think about how you treat your money, you're going to have strategic plans and you're going to have tactical plans to how you approach money. So your strategic plans would be, you know what, when I make enough money, I'm going to buy a
Freezing up.
house. Then once I buy the house, I'm going to, rent it out and I'm going to make money long term. So whatever gives you money in say 3, 5, 10, 15, 25 years onwards, those are strategic plans. Yeah, but life is going on every day, right? Tomorrow is going to be Sunday as sure as night follows day, right? And when tomorrow comes, you're going to require, something to happen. You're going to have a need. You're going to have, life will be happening around you. Okay. So investments can be seen as something that is long term. And then in the short term, what can you do with small amount of money that you can potentially increase? Now, for some people, they set up a slight business and go, okay, I'm making daily revenue. I'll give a couple of examples. We can use Nigeria because obviously everyone's a bit familiar. Some people might make some lump sum of money and say, actually, got some extra money and say, okay, you know what, maybe I should open a business where I can get daily retails, or maybe I should invest in transportation so I can see daily revenue. Okay. So that's what trading does for you in the short term. And then you've got investments, which is long term. Okay. And that's how most people that are involved in the money market operates. That's how they operate. Okay. They've got their investments, both in stocks and shares and ETFs, and they go every day and go, okay, based on the information and news and the knowledge they have of the market, what can they do? How can they make money in the next one day or 1 week or 1 month? And I think that's what we need to educate people on. Now, it's a rapidly growing marketplace. And as with every rapidly growing marketplace, there's going to be a lot of noise. People are going to exaggerate what you can get. People are going to show off things that makes perhaps not much sense, or people are going to show off lifestyles that are on the surface not achievable at the first instance. But we know how money works. Okay, you can get rich, and how do you get rich? You get rich slowly and consistently because it compounds. the power of compounding plays over time. Now, most people they have gone through this process, but they're only demonstrating their wealth at that area where their wealth was compounded. But for many people, they just show off, which is not realistic. What we want to do, and I think what TGM has been able to do, which has become, a sort of crutch for most women, is we simplify everything. Okay, we make things very straightforward. We make it very real. You're going to hear this phrase, whatever we're teaching you here or talking about is not a get rich quick scheme. Okay. It is not a guarantee that you're going to be successful. It is not a give me your money, I'm going to quadruple it. We're never going to do that. What we want to do is not gatekeep and share the ideas and the knowledge we have that has made us successful and in our own rights. Now typically, if you look at the channel of success, you are nearly only relatable to the people that are closer to your experience by a factor of six. If the world's best trader is on this call, the type of conversations they will have at a technical level will fly above most people's head. And I think what we've been able to do at TGM is to consistently make sure that the basics are captured. So that way you can start to build on your knowledge by being part of our community, by showing up every day, okay, by understanding that this is, as with anything, is a it's not a get rich quick scheme. It is a marathon and not a sprint. So I'll keep quiet now, and then we can continue with our session. Mia.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it. So let's get into the fun part. You're not late, you're early. I know a lot of people like to think that, oh my God, the reason why this quote is here is because some of the comments I've gotten about people, and this is just me adding tech into it, people that are trying to switch into tech or move into like an industry, they're like, oh my God, Mia, I feel like I'm late. I feel like I'm doing this after everybody has done it. So that's why this code is here. You're not late. You're never late to anything. The time that you got in is the right time. Again, fixing your mindset, right? A lot of research would tell you that when women invest, women are much better investors than men. This is real, actual research that shows that women are better investors than men because women tend to trade less impulsively. Women have more discipline, right? And maybe it's just the way that we're nurturers. And also, I think in a lot of ways, because we're also risk averse. Like most women are more risk averse than men too. So because of that, women are just better traders than men, plain and simple, right? But the reality is that we still have more men that are trading and investing than women. And the goal of Aura is to flip that gap, flip it so much that women are much richer than men. That's what I want. So it's never been the fact that it's never been about your ability, right? So when people tell me, oh, Mia, I don't even know anything about investing. So people tell me, oh, Mia, I just downloaded Bamboo and I just bought some random stocks. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm confused. It's not your ability, it's just the fact that nobody taught you this, right? Nobody sat you down in school. We all went to high school, went to college, or what we call secondary school and university in Nigeria, right? We all went through all of that, but there was never a time that somebody sat us down and was like, I'm going to teach you how to manage money. This is how you invest. This is how you open a brokerage account. This is how much you set aside for saving. Nobody ever taught us that through the 6 years of high school and 4 years of college. That was never a class. Even I, as a finance major, I studied finance and accounting in college, and it was still not the finance was not really about teaching me how to manage my money. They didn't teach me that, right? I still had to learn after graduation. So my point is that I don't want you to ever feel like you're late. Even it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're in your 40s or in your 50s or in your 60s, it doesn't matter. I don't want you to feel like Mia, I feel like I'm late. No, that mindset, we're burning it right now. Burn it at the door. I don't want to see it ladies. We're not talking about being late. The time that you got in here is the right time. So, um, 90 minutes. I'm gonna try to make sure this doesn't go on for 90 minutes. We're gonna talk about options, which is what I'm gonna be teaching you about. Then we're going to have a break. can go get drinks or you can go get coffee. Just 10 minutes, stretch yourself, doom scroll a little bit, tag us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and let us know what you're learning from the class. Feel free to tag me and tag the Girls Manual community. And then when you come back, Charles is going to take over and explain futures for you, right? So you're hearing futures. What is that? What does that mean? What is futures? Don't worry, you're going to learn everything you need to learn today. And then at the end, Charles and I will talk a little bit about risk management, position sizing, trading psychology. He and I will go back and forth on that, and then we'll have a live Q&A, right? And then at the end of this class, we have an amazing offer for you. So make sure you're staying to the end. This is going to be a fun class, okay, ladies? So you got to stay. So go and get your drinks. I want to see red wines, please. Show me your red wine. Turn on your video. Show me your red wine. I want to see you drinking a wine or coffee or whatever it is. I know it's morning, so maybe coffee is best. Okay, so many of you probably know what a stock market is, but I'm still going to try to explain it for you. Think about a company, right? When you own a stock in a company, it means you're owning a slice of that company. So this is an iPhone, right? This iPhone is an Apple device. It is manufactured by Apple. So the name of the company is Apple. So when you buy a stock of Apple, when you buy one share of Apple, you are buying a part ownership in Apple. So you are now a part owner of Apple. So even though Apple is $1 trillion company or $2 trillion company these days, I don't even know, even though Apple is $1 trillion company, and you're only buying a share of maybe $50 on Apple, you are still a part owner. Yes, you own $50 of a $1 trillion company. You are a part owner. And by law, Apple is required to send you, you know, um, dividends. They're required to send you. So out of the $50, you're still entitled to some dividend, right? So it doesn't matter how much you own in that company. As long as you have a share of that company, you are a part owner of that company, you own a slice of that company, right? So that is how stock ownership works. But we're talking about options today, right? Now, you know that when you buy shares, many of you, this has happened to you. You tell me, oh, me, I bought shares on Bamboo and my shares is down. I don't know what happened. Well, what happened is that stocks go up or down. That's just the reality. Stocks are never always going to go up. That's a lie. If anybody ever tells you, oh, this stock is going to go up, 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 you're going to make so much money, they're lying to you. Stocks go like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like, and if you don't have a strong heart, you will panic sell, right? So stocks, and that is why they say you have to buy stocks for long-term investing because a stock is not going to give you 100% return in 6 months. It's not going to give you 100% return in 2 years. Sometimes, like it takes years for you to get good returns. Sometimes it will drop. Sometimes you will lose 50% of the value, and then you get back 100%, right? So that is how stocks move. Now, this is where options become fun because with stocks, when it goes down, you're not making money, right? You're losing money. But with options, when the stocks go down, you can actually make money. And that is where options becomes a leverage for you. So you can have a long-term investment portfolio, but with options trading, you're leveraging. That is what I see options as for myself. Like right now, the stock market is in shambles. The stock market has been in shambles. My portfolio is down bad. But guess what? I am still making ten to $20,000 a month every month from the stock market by buying puts, by trading the stock market. Because even though my main investment portfolio is in shambles, I am able to trade against the market because the market is going down. I'm able to trade that and make money to fund myself while my main investment portfolio is in shambles and growing, right? So that is what options can give to you. Right. So, I want you to start to think about what stock that you like the most. Maybe you have it in your portfolio. Maybe you have it in your account. Maybe it's something that you bought, right? So now we're going to move into talking about contracts. So a stock, an index like the S&P 500, I don't know how familiar you all are with indexes, but I don't want to divert away from the whole point of this conversation or this call, right? So I'm going to move on to telling you about options fully. So options, there are two pieces to options, a call and a put, right? So now let's think about you want to buy a nice bag. I used Birkin here because I want a Birkin, so you're gonna have to excuse me on that. So let's assume that Mia is trying to buy a Birkin, and the Birkin is $12,000 today. And you all know that Birkin has a long wait list, right? So I go into the MS store and they say, Mia, if you pay $500 now, right, you can come and buy this Birkin anytime for $12,000 in the next 3 months. You have to buy it in the next 3 months, right? And we will hold that price for you for $12,000. So even if Birkin goes up to 25,000 or 30,000 in the next 3 months, excuse me, if you put this $500 deposit down now, you can buy it for $12,000 in the next 3 months. So 3 months later, that bag is now worth $15,000. What does that mean? I come in, I buy the bag, right? At 12,000, I've made $3,000 profits on that, right? However, the bag can also drop to $9,000, right? That can very much happen. But I'm already locked in a contract with MS, right? I've locked in a contract and told them that I will buy it for 12,000. So even if the bag drops to 9,000, here's the fun part about options. I don't have to buy it. I can just walk away. The only thing I lose is my $500 deposit. I'm like, oh, this bag has dropped to 9,000. Me, I don't want to. You can keep it. But all I've lost in this position and in this situation is my $500 deposit. So if it goes the way that I want, $300. But from everything that I'm seeing, Apple is I'm signing these AI contracts. They're creating new MacBooks. They're just doing so many new things. I'm like, man, it looks like Apple is going to be trading for $400 in the next 6 months, though. It looks like Apple stocks is going to go up. So I'm going to go and buy a call on Apple. I'm going to go put this deposit, this $300 deposit, and to the stock market, and with the belief that in the next 6 months, Apple is going to start trading for $400, right? So if Apple starts to trade for $400, I get the shares plus the premium on on what I paid down, right? But if Apple starts to trade for $250, the only thing I lose is that deposit that I paid, right? That is what a call and a put really is. That is the end buy, right? Again, like I said, a call and a put. Think about it. A call is positive, a put is negative. So negative in the sense that when you think about put, you're saying it's going down. When you think about call, you're saying it's going up, right? It gives you the right, not the obligation. This means you are not obligated to buy. So even if the stock goes up to $12,000, and you say, you know what, even though this has made a lot of money, I still don't want to buy the stock or the backing. You don't have to buy it. Your premium, though, will go up because remember, when you deposited 500, you deposited 500 on the fact that that backing was going to go up to was at 12,000. Now, if that backing is selling for $15,000, that is no longer the deposit for anybody that's coming in now. The new deposit could be $700 or $800. So that difference in premium deposit, that is your own win. If you decide that I don't want to pay for the bag, you still get something positively from that, right? That is how options work. So the payoff curve, right? The payoff curve occurs when the price goes up or down to your target or to your strike price. So you're saying the strike price is $100. So you're saying, and let's assume, that's a good example that we can use now. I'm trying to think. Let's use close up. I remember that as a toothpaste. No, let's use something else. Let's use like I think Apple is a good advice, but let's say Samsung. A lot of people use the Samsung phones, right? So let's assume Samsung is currently trading at $80 per share. And you are saying that Samsung is gonna go up to $100 per share. That is your assumption that Samsung is going to start trading for $100 in the next few months. So you pay a premium, which is the deposit, for $5, right? So the strike, you see that $100 that you're saying that Samsung is going to go up to, that is called the strike. So you're going to hear that a lot in options trading, right? And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. So when someone says the strike, they're saying, what is the amount you're saying that that thing is going to go up to or go down to? Remember, call and puts, right? So it could go up and it could go down. So the puts, right? Again, the opposite of you're saying Samsung is currently trading at $100 per share, and you're like, I think Samsung, they're not doing well. Their phones are terrible. Their phones are doing this and this. So I think Samsung is going to drop down to $80 in the next 6 months. I don't trust this stock. This stock is going to go down. That's what you do. Again, the same thing you did for the price going up. You do it for price going down. You're like, I'm putting this deposit down, right? That Samsung is going to go down to $80 per share. So you're saying that, so that is the good thing with options trading. With stocks, you cannot do this, right? So you can short stocks, but with options, it gives you leverage to play both sides without necessarily owning the stock, right? That is the good thing about options trading. So, excuse me. So how is that deposit? Deposit premium. Remember we talked about the deposit, the $500 deposit for the backing. That is called a premium in options trading. So who decides what that price is? Well, that's a nice question. How many days are you locking that contract in? That is one decision of how much your deposit would be. You're saying that Apple is going to go up to $400. If you're saying Apple is going to go up to $400 in the next 1 week, and Apple is currently $300, your premium will be very, very, very cheap because look at the gap it has to fill, right? But if you're saying that Apple is going to go up to $400 in the next 1 year, that's a long time. So your premium will be more expensive. So the longer your contract is, the more expensive it gets, right? The shorter your contract is, the cheaper it is. Now, here's a mistake that newbies always do. They always take the shorter contract because they think that means that they're going to make some money. No, because if that contract does not move, you're going to lose all your premium. So for newbies and new traders, I always suggest that you put in a longer time frame so that your contract has time to grow into your strike price, right? So there are four things that you need to really, really consider when you're trading. And this thing right here, this screen right here, this is the most important piece for when you want to start paper trading on Monday. The stock, that is what it is. So we're using locks here, but think locks could be Apple, it could be, excuse me, this could be Apple, this could be Samsung, this could be whatever. Type, remember we talked about call versus put. So when I say call, you're saying that it's going to go up. Strike price, remember, Lux is currently trading at $102.40. So strike price is you are saying that Lux is going to go up to $105. That's why it is a call because you're saying it's going to go up. Expiration, remember what we talked about, the contract. It has to have an expiration date. The longer your expiration, the more expensive. The shorter, the cheaper. We're in July right now. We're saying the expiration is August. So that's 1 month. So that's still quite a long expiration date. So our premium for locks is $3.20 times 100. Why is it times 100? Each option contract is 100 shares. Normally, when you're trading on your own Bamboo or Robinhood or Webull or Fidelity, when you're buying shares, you can buy a quarter share, you can buy 1 share, you can buy 10 shares. You can buy as many or as little shares as you want when you're doing your own thing in your own brokerage. But with options, you don't have that choice. Each contract is 100 shares. So when you're selecting one contract, you're buying the right, not the obligation to buy 100 shares. So each contract is 100 shares. Now you can buy many contracts. So if you buy 4 contracts, that is 400 shares. But one contract is 100 shares. So the price for each premium is $3.20. So for one contract, which is 100 shares, is 320. So this is your deposit. This premium, remember what I said earlier? A premium is deposit. So this premium right here, this is your deposit, $320. You're saying I'm putting this deposit down that Lux is going to go up from 102 to 105 per share. Remember, per share. So this is 105 per share. So you have to multiply this times 100. That is the value, that is the return that you're going to get back on this. So this is how an options chain looks like in any trading app that you have. You'll see the premium for call and the premium for puts and the strike price. So the strike price, remember, is the amount or the value you're saying that this thing is going to go up or go down to, right? So if I'm saying that it's going to go up to $95, it's, my call premium is $8.10, right? Excuse me. So this is how the call premium and the put premium is. You see how they're like opposites of each other, right? So that is how the call and the put premium. So you have to figure out what your strike is. And then once you select the strike, automatically it would calculate what your premium is for you. So as strike rise, calls get cheaper and puts get richer. So this is very important for you to know. These three important phrases, very, very important for you to know. In the money, at the money, and out of the money. Now, one thing that I'm going to say to you with trading is there is nothing like doing it. I can teach you all the terminologies in the world on this call, but actually doing it is the best way you learn. You will learn so much more from 2 days of trading than you will from me teaching you these terminologies for the next 2 months. You will learn so much more from actually downloading and playing around with it, paper trading in 2 days than you will learn from me talking from now till the next 1 month. It will still sound like, oh my God, Mia, this sounds like mathematics. I'm confused. I don't trust me. You will learn so much from doing. This is one of those things whereby with every day that you trade, the more knowledge you are gaining. Excuse me. So in the money, when I say in the money, it means that that price, the stock is already at that price, right? So remember when I said I want to pay a deposit for Beckin for $12,000. Beckin is already $12,000. So Beckin is in the money, right? That contract is in the money because it's already $12,000. At the money, excuse me. So, yeah, sorry. In the money, the contract already has real value baked in, right? So the bag is at $12,000. So when I exercise that contract, either way, no, sorry, I mixed that up a little bit. When I say in the money, I'm putting a deposit. Remember when we used the MS example, the Beckin example, I said I'm paying a deposit of $500, right? That this Beckin bag is going to go from 12K to 15K, right? So if I'm doing that when Beckin is already 15K, that contract is in the money. At the money is when the bag is currently at $12,000. And again, if you're feeling confused, please put your questions again, like I said, on the chat so that we can come back to it. So you also don't forget your questions, right? So at the money, the strike price and my contract price is the same. And then out of the money is when I'm going further out. So like the example of that I gave of Apple being 300, the example that I gave of Apple being 300, and you are saying that Apple is going to grow up to 400 in the next 6 months, that is out the money. That is a further out the money contract. In the money is Apple is already $300, $300 per share. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to put a deposit for 300, that Apple is going to stay at 300 or go up above 300. That is in the money, right? So that is the way I want it. So sometimes I might say buy a contract in the money. It means that if it's currently trading at 301, you want to select, that is your strike. You're selecting 301 as a strike. You're saying that Apple is going to continue trading at 301 or go up at 301 or go down. In the money is you are saying that this is the strike it is at, this is where it's going to stay. Or it might go, if you're buying a call, right, you're saying it's either going to stay at 300 or you go up, right? That is in the money. If you're buying a put, you're saying it's either going to stay at 280 or we keep going down. That is in the money. You're buying it at exactly the strike price that it is trading for right now. That is the way I want to think about in the money. Out the money is it is trading for 300 and you're saying it's going to go up to 400. That is a far out the money contract. So meet the Greeks, right? So this one is, I don't want you to overthink this piece too. Again, options can sound very complicated when you're listening to it, but it is not, I promise you. Delta. Delta is the speed with which your contract makes money. So if a delta is 0.50, it means that if if um if the contract goes, so you're buying, again, we're using Apple again. Apple is trading for 300. You are saying that Apple is going to go up to 400 in 6 months. If Apple's delta is 0.50, that means that for every $1 that Apple moves, you are making 0.50. So you're making 50% on every $1 move. Think about it. So if Apple goes from 300 to 301, your profit is 0.50 on that $1. If it goes from 301 to 302, another 0.50. If it goes from 300 up until when Apple gets to 400. So you are making almost 50% profit if Apple does a 100 points move from 300 to 400. That is insane profits, because think about it. Apple is not doubling, right? It's going from 300 to 400, you know, it's going from $300 to $400. That is not it doubling, because doubling will be it going from 300 to 600. But literally, your premium is doubling. The deposits that you put is doubling when Apple does that move. That is how options, that is why combining options with long-term investments can literally flip your life positively and flip your finances in a different way. Because investing is more long-term and much more slow. But like with options, like with that premium doubling, you're making a lot more money more quickly and much more faster, right? So Theta, this is the one everybody hates. Everybody hates Theta. You're going to hear Theta a lot more than Delta. Every day you hold an option. Every day. So remember you bought it for 6 months. Every day, for each day, your contract is losing value. So that $500 deposit that you put down, a percentage of it is burning every day. So most times it could be 0.0005 cents. So it means that your contract is losing 5 cents every day. The only way that your contract will be valuable is if your delta, the speed, is way higher than the theta. So it means that that contract needs to keep going up, because if it keeps going up, then you make money. But if it keeps going down, which is a put and maybe you bought a call, right? And then theta is even burning your contract, you're losing money in two ways. That's why your contract can burn quickly. So your contract, again, which is the deposits, it can go down to zero very quickly and very fast, especially for those expensive contracts. Imagine you put like, and this happens to me. This did happen to me. $3,000 contract burnt in 10 minutes. I was looking at my phone and I watched $3,000 go to $0 in 10 minutes because Trump tweeted, and it was an ODT contract. So ODTE means that the contract was going to expire that day. So my theta was very, very fast, but my delta was going the opposite direction so quickly because Trump did a tweet and it went the opposite direction, and my money disappeared in front of me. But the opposite has also happened to me. I have bought a contract of $1,000 that went up to $9,000 in front of me. And I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And I quickly got out, right? Because again, when you're in the right play of things, you can very well make a lot of money, but you can also very well lose money if you're not in the right strategy, right? So theta again is the rent, right? Which is how much your contract is losing value every day. So that's why your longer term contract is more expensive, and theta will be burning it slowly and slowly. Short-term contract has a much higher theta. So we're going to talk. I think there's a slide for that. I need to find it. Oh, I don't see it. I was trying to show you a slide that had the theta. Mm, okay, I
I
thought I
think
had
that
that.
one explains, no, the time is a fee.
Uh, no, there was like a screenshot of a Robin Hood account that I thought was here, but that's it. Okay, so weird. Hmm. Okay, I might be on the. Give me a second, ladies. I'm going to pull it back out. Hmm. I don't see the right slides here. Okay. Sorry. Because I feel like if I show you that, you would see. Okay. Okay, let's reshare. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Perfect. So do you see this screen here right now? This is the Greeks. I hope my screen is visible, ladies.
Yes, it is visible.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thanks. So this is SpaceX, right? This is, the ticker, SpaceX. Remember, SpaceX was trading at $150 when it went public, and then it went up to $200, right? And then it came back down to, it really, I think SpaceX is at like 130 or 129 now. It's really dropped, right? So I decided that I'm going to buy a put on SpaceX. What does that mean? Who can answer that? What does a put mean? When I say I'm buying a put on SpaceX, what does that mean?
It means you're betting
You are
that the price will
predicting
fall.
low down.
Yep,
Go down.
yep, exactly. I'm like, if SpaceX has already lost $30, this stock is going to keep going down. So I'm like, I'm going to buy 100. I'm saying, so what is this $100? What is it? What does this $100 mean?
That's the
A
amount of money
contract.
they
That
are
is my
putting
A
in.
contract. Yeah.
This is my strike price. So remember, this is a strike. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying SpaceX, this is my strike. So I'm saying SpaceX is going to drop to $100. This is my strike. So I'm doing a put, which means I'm saying SpaceX. Now, this is my expiration. Do you see how far out I bought it? I bought it for January 2027. I'm saying SpaceX is going to drop to $100. So technically what I'm saying is I'm telling this, buy SpaceX $100 puts for January 2027. I'm saying SpaceX is going to drop to $100 by January 2027. This is when my contract expires. So bid and ask. This is the current price. So forget bid, ask is the cocoa right here. So this is how much this contract costs. $13.30. So it means, remember, it's for each share. So each share, each contract, so this is the price, $13.30 for each one, right? But remember that each option contract is 100 shares. So that is why this is going to cost me $13,300, right? Times 100. So now what I want you to think about now is the Greeks. Remember I talked about delta and theta, right? Delta means that for every $1 that SpaceX goes up,
Down.
for every $1 that SpaceX goes up, I lose 24 cents. But for every $1 that SpaceX goes down, because remember it's a put, that's why it has minus here, I gain 24 cents. So I'm gaining 24% on each dollar up or down. Now, Theta, this is the one that says bonds your contract. For every single day from now to January 2027, my contract is going to lose 0.05388. This is how much my contract is going to be losing every day. Whether it goes up or it goes down, my contract is going to keep losing this every day. So in order for me to be profitable, it means that my delta must always be higher than my theta, right? This has to always be higher than this. So which means that I must be really smart in when I'm buying a contract. If the delta is lower than the theta, that's not smart, right? That can happen with ODTEs sometimes. So these are the Greeks. So again, like I said, I don't want you to overthink it. You're not calculating anything. This is the automatic screen you will see when you're buying your options contracts. And then you click buy, and that's it. And then you just let the thing do its thing, right? So that's how delta and theta works. I don't want to go into gamma, vega, and rho because again, you don't really need those for now. Once you start to trade, you'll figure, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the community as well too. So, but delta and theta, these are your two best friends. We hate theta. Everybody hates theta. Theta, this is our enemy. This is taking money from us. We don't like theta at all. We like delta. Delta is our best friend, right? Theta is our enemy. We don't like theta. She's that very terrible girl that is jealous of us. So theta, not our friend. You have to remember that all the time. So time is the quiet fee. That is theta. Time is, so your option is not an investment. Remember, you have your real investment. Option is a melting asset. So even when the stock is not moving, your premium is still decaying. It's called time decay. Your premium is still decaying and decelerating, right? Especially as your expiration date gets closer and closer. And this is the problem with options. This is why options can be very annoying for a lot of people because when you buy a share, your shares is not decaying, right? You can keep the shares for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. But with options, it is the opposite. Time decays your contract. That is why options can be very profitable or very devastating because of that time factor. That is why options can make you so much money so quickly and so fast, right? And it can also cause you to lose money if you're on the wrong side of the contract. So buyers versus sellers. I think we've talked a little bit about this, which is like you as the buyer, you're the one paying the premium and you hold the right, right? So I'm paying this premium, this deposits, this is my deposit on SpaceX, $13.30. This is my deposit on SpaceX, that SpaceX is going to come down to $100. And so that is me as the buyer, right? And then there's a seller, there's somebody on the other side that is collecting that money from me, right? And would give me that shares if I choose to exercise it at the end of the contract. So now, question and answer time. If you believe, so don't let's use locks, let's use Apple. If you believe Apple is about to climb up, so Apple is currently trading at 300, you believe that Apple is going to climb up to 350. What gives you the right to buy it at a locked price? Is it a call, a put, or a savings account?
It's a call.
A call.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. If you buy one call for a $3 premium, that was your deposit. What is your maximum loss on this? So let's say the premium for Apple was $3. What is the maximum you can lose?
300.
300.
How did you come to 300?
Because you're buying 100 shares. So it has to be
That-
3 by 100.
That's my girl. Correct. Yes. So the maximum you can lose is the deposit that you paid, which is 300. What is an out the money option contract worth at expiration? I don't think we talked about that actually.
We did a bit further out. If it's going to be you buy 50 and it is 50 now, and you put a deposit in because you feel it's going to be reached to 70, but it went up to 80, 90, thereabout.
Yeah.
That's further out.
Yeah, that's an out the money contract. Yeah. So an out the money contract option at expiration, if it expires and it's already out the money, that contract will be worth zero because it's too far out. So let's say you bought up Apple for 300 and you say Apple is going to grow up to 400 in 2 months. But by 2 months, Apple is still at 300 or 290. Your premium at that point, you're not going to get anything back because it would have expired at that point. Now, the good thing with options is if you see that the contract is going the other way, you can get out with some percentage of your premium, obviously not the maximum you put down. So if you're putting in $500 deposit and it starts to run the other way around, right? And you're seeing like, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose all my money. I'm just going to come out with 200 or 300. You can with options trading, right? You don't have to lose your entire deposit. So I'm really glad that you're all able to answer a bits and pieces of the question. So what I want you all to do come Monday, depending on where you are at, if you leave, I think I'm going to try to have this added to the email. Sarah, if you could have this added for Chineye to add to the email, right? For some of the ladies that we're going to send out to you. So if you leave, but if you're on this call, you can actually just take it down. If you live in Nigeria, I want you to go and download Trade Zero. You're only using Trade Zero temporarily until Aura is launched. Temporarily, because Aura is going to be your game changer, okay? So if you live in Nigeria, go and download Trade Zero because that is the only app, that is the only platform right now that would allow you trade options from Nigeria. So if you live in Nigeria, go and download Trade Zero. That is where you're going to start your paper trading on Monday because I need you to start trading. I need you to get in right now and start trading on Monday. So go on Trade Zero, download a video, download the app. What we're going to do is there's a TGM video that shows you how to download how to paper trade options trading. So if you join the community, you'll be able to see that. So go and download Trade Zero. If you live in America, go and download Webull and Robinhood. If you live in the UK, go and download IBKR, right? And then I want you to start playing around with these apps. Apply for options trading on all those apps that wherever you're in, whether you're in Nigeria, Trade Zero, America, Robinhood or Webull, UK, IBKR or Trade Zero as well too. Apply for all of those apps, apply for options trading, right? And then I want you to actively start listening to the news, right? So Bloomberg is your best friend, Yahoo News is your best friend. And I want you to write a list of 4 stocks that you're going to trade this week. I want you to start with big tech. The reason why is because big tech is stable. Big tech has good movement. So for this week, you're going to trade Apple, Google, Meta, or Netflix. Those 4. One of those, no, actually change Netflix to Microsoft. Netflix has become a very shitty stock. So Apple, Google, Meta, or Microsoft. Those are the 4 stocks you're going to trade this week. So I want you to go look at what their share price is, what they're trading for, right? Read all the news about them and then tell me what you think the price is going to go. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Now, what you're doing right now is guesswork as a beginner because there is an actual strategy to figuring out whether the stock price is going to go up or down. And that is called technical analysis. We're not going to go into that on this call because that is all charting, right? Charting is fun, is interesting. You're going to enjoy that class a lot, right? There's an actual strategy towards that. But for beginners, your charting is probably going to be very, iffy. So I want you to use the news. So you can trade on 2 things. You can trade with chat or you can trade the news. So trading the news is an actual strategy that people do. So I want you to trade the news. Excuse me. I want you to trade the news on those 4 stocks, paper trade, determine what they're going to do, whether they're going to go up or go down, and buy and paper trade and buy a call or a put on your paper trade. and post a screenshot on social media and tag me so that I can come comment and give you insights, right? I want to see you paper trading this week, those 4 stocks. So now we're gonna have a short break. Please go grab yourself water, drinks, whatever. And then we're gonna have Charles come on board and talk to us about futures trading. But thank you all, ladies. I've had such a great time trying to break down options for you. I want you to really use this. I mean, I would love for you to join the community, but again, I still want you to take this because there's so much to options. So I want you to take this and go really, 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 really go into it and go. I'm still coming back once Charles is done to talk about trading psychology and your next steps and how you can, I want you to go download this. As I'm talking, actually, right now, as I'm talking to you, go and download those apps right now. As we're talking on this call, go and download it right now, right? So that in case you have questions, I can help you answer it at the end. But I want you to go use this to go make money. Trading can change your life a lot, but you need to lock in to it. It's not easy. It's not overnight success. You're not going to be a profitable trader tomorrow. You're not going to be a profitable trader in 1 month. You're not going to be a profitable trader in 3 months. You're going to make wins and losses, wins and losses, wins and losses. That is the way trading works. But those that lock in, those that do not give up, they're the ones that eventually win this game. And I want you to win this game. I want you to fund your lifestyle with trading while still having your 9 to 5, of course, while still having your side also. But you're like, oh, I want to go to Dubai in December. I don't want to stay in Nigeria in December. 30 December is very stressful, it's chaotic in Lagos. So I'm just going to go to Dubai to spend my Christmas and I'm going to fund it with my trading money. I'm going to make $500 a month from now to December. I'm going to make $5,000 a month from now to December. Those are realistic targets that you can set. And then you make that and you use that to fund yourself, right? That is what trading can give to you. But let's take a short break and we'll be back instead of 10 minutes, let's do 5 minutes. We'll be back in 11:15 for Charles to take over. But thank you, ladies. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Charles.
Is it 10 minutes already?
Oh, I did 5 minutes. Oh, since you wanted 10 minutes, that's okay. Okay.
No, let's just wait to see. I mean, no. I we want to make sure that we're not stealing everyone's time, right? So we want to make sure
Yeah.
that we get. I'm just asking if everyone's back here. I was just busy answering some questions on the in the chat, but we can certainly get through this. Let me um let me set this. We can come back. So while we're waiting for everyone to come, I think maybe we're just going to confirm it by show of hands if everyone is back online. I think maybe a couple of people are just coming in. I'm going to just expand on what Mia was saying, right? So I think everyone gets Mia. Thank you so much because everyone understands what options are, and it's really great. Pretty simplified. I think one of the messages there that caught my eye. Someone was saying that options really sounded different to them, so it's good that it's been simplified. So thank you, Mia. And options are a great way to make money off the money markets because if you think about how much stocks cost now, it's quite expensive. For example, Mia was just sharing, it's you look at SpaceX, everyone is excited about it, right? And it's like $100 or it's $130 now. And the truth is, not many people are going to be able to buy it. I mean, if you own one, it's good, but some people might want to own more than one, might want to own 100. Now, if you want to own it, think about it. If you want to, if it's if the cost of if the cost of, let's say the cost of SpaceX was $130, right? If you wanted to buy 100 of those, you're going to have to pay 13,000, right? So 100 times 1 is 13,000. But with options, you can actually just pay $500, and then you have 100 of those options, right? And then if the price goes up, your value of your contract goes from 500 to 550 or 600 or 700 because it's tracking the strike price, right? So the strike is the price that you're thinking is going to hit. So as price approaches it, so if price goes from 130 to 133, 134, 135, 136, coming closer, your contract gets more value because that means that it's approaching your strike price. Okay, so it's a good way to make extra income. And as Mia said, many people heard it before, but they're not aware of it. Now, I've been, I try to visit Nigeria at least once a year. I know that in Nigeria, when it comes to trading, what is popular is Forex. Okay. Forex is just buying and selling. All you're doing is buying and selling on Forex, selling foreign exchange currencies. That's what you're doing. But there are tons of financial instruments that you can trade, that you can make money from. And I think one of them we want to talk about is futures. Okay. Now, if you remember what Mia was saying at the beginning of options, in options, right, you have the rights, not the obligation. So, when she talked about your Hermes bag, right? If the Hermes bag was 15 grand, right? And then it drops to 9K, but you've paid 500 for them to hold it for you. Okay. If it drops to 9K and you go, actually, you know what, I don't want to buy it anymore, you only lose your your 500 quid, right? You're not tied. There's no obligation on your side, right, to buy it. Okay. Now, for futures, however, you have an obligation, but you're not using your money. Okay. You're not putting your own money, like you're not paying the whole price now. You have an obligation. So if you say, okay, I want to buy this stuff, let's just stick with the Hermes bag. I want to buy a Hermes bag. And did you hold it, whatever the price is? Okay, I'll buy, just keep one Hermes bag for me at a certain price range. I'll buy at the end of the month. If the end of the month comes, they will bring the Hermes back to your house and then you have to pay the full price. For options, if the end of the month comes and you don't say, I want to buy, so if you don't exercise, that obligation to buy the Hermes bag, you just lose your 500 quid. Okay. For futures, it would come to you. Okay. Now, but you don't, what you trade to, obviously, in the place of options contract is margin. So the margin is what you put down. Okay. Don't get thrown off by the terminologies, right? But options is futures is pretty straightforward. You just buy and sell. That's it. You buy, you sell. You buy, you sell. Ideally, it's not recommended to hold what you're buying until the end of day or until the end of week or until the end of month. You try to trade within that same day. Okay? If you buy in the morning, try to sell once you're in profit. In fact, most people that trade options, they trade it within minutes. You buy now, and in 1 to 2 minutes, you just sell because its prices come up. I'll show you an example on my screen so you can see. Okay? Now, so the idea of futures came from the Netherlands, right? I don't know if most of you are aware, but Netherlands used to be, I mean, even till now, they're one of the biggest countries, like farming countries in the world, right? And then when historically, right? Farmers used to try to lock in price, right, for their harvests, right? Um, in the Netherlands, they used to trade tulips, the flowers, tulips, right? So a farmer, so in this example, a wheat farmer and a bakery will lock in the price today for the harvest is delivered in a few months. So the bakery will say, okay, I want to pay, let's say, $100 for each 100 kg of wheat that you're going to supply me. They lock that price in, okay? And then when um when that date comes, the farmer has to deliver those numbers, okay? And the bakery has to take this amount of numbers. So that imagine if for some reason that harvest season there were an excess of wheat that was obviously harvested. Normally, as we know in economics, if there's excess, if there's more supply, demand drops, right? Right? And then if there's demand, if there's more demand than supply, if there's more supply than demand, price drops. If there's higher demand and less supply, price goes up. So what's happening is they're both agreeing on that price. So if during harvest season there was an excessive supply of wheat, the farmer knows that the price that they've agreed doesn't drop. And then, of course, the bakery has to pay. If there is a scarcity of wheat, right, and even if the price has gone up 5, 10 times, the farmer needs to supply the bakery at the agreed price. So that's what futures is. You're agreeing a fixed price, okay, for a specific date. Now, when it comes to futures, you can trade anything. I don't know if you guys are aware in the stock market. Me, I'll try to share some things as well here. So I might have two screens where we're sharing. Okay. So when it comes to the futures market, you can trade anything. You can trade anything at all. Okay. You can trade wheat. So there's the futures market for wheat. You can trade oil. You can trade copper. You can trade gold. I think everyone knows that you can trade gold. You can trade corn. You can trade corn. You can trade anything. So there's a futures market pretty much for anything you want to trade. Okay. The futures market is one of the biggest trading markets out there. Okay. I'll give an example. So if we do this, if we go, say, gold, okay, I think I actually already got gold open here. So this is what the market looks like. This is the stock market, okay? The stock market just shows you how the price of goods and service, how the price of the underlying assets is moving based on demand and supply. Obviously, many of you understand what it looks like. If it's showing red candles, it means the price is coming down. The value of the underlying asset is coming down based on demand and supply. If it's going up, it means the price is going up based on demand and supply. Now, in futures, for example, you can trade gold, okay? You can trade copper futures. This is the price of copper, right? $1,303, okay? You can trade wheat. Talked about wheat, okay? Wheat futures. This is the price of wheat. 600 and whatever they per dollars per whatever it is they calculate. Okay. You can trade zinc. I know they can trade zinc futures. Okay. You can trade cow. They trade cows. You can trade anything. So whatever commodity in the markets, it can be traded. So essentially, futures is you trading that. So that's the simplest form. Is that clear for everyone? Yes? You following? Yes? I'll take it everyone is following. Good. So here's a snapshot of what it looks, the difference, right? So of options, remember, you can walk away. You get the rights, right? You have the rights, but you don't have the obligation. So you don't need to buy it. If Birkin bag prices drop, you actually, you know what, I don't want to buy anything. You lose your deposit. Okay? Birkin gets a deposit, gets your $500 because remember they kept 100 of Birkin bags aside for you, thinking that you're going to buy it. So they have to keep it. So the 500 quid is they agree that it's is what you lose from the other side. And that's what Birkin gains for keeping it aside because they could have sold it to somebody else, right? The premium you pay it upfront. So as me is talking about, if the price of Apple is $100, you might pay $50, right? Or $5, or whatever it is per stock. So you pay that upfront. But in futures, it's a margin. You're trading with a margin. Okay, not direct, not real money. You're just selecting, okay, this price is fine. I'll hold it. And then once that price goes up, you can sell it. Somebody else will buy it from you because price is going up. If it goes down, you lose it, and you sell. You lose the difference between when you buy and when you sold. So it's all about margins that you're trading, not real money. Because what happens is, if you don't sell your futures at the end of the specific dates, and I'll show you the dates. It's 4 times a year. They're different dates. At the end of that date, if you're still holding your futures, wherever you are in the world, they're going to bring it for you. So if you were trading gold futures, and then you held the contract until your futures contract until it expires, they're going to send that gold to your house, or they're going to call you and go, "Where do you want it?" If you're trading wheat futures, right, and it expires, they're going to ship truckloads of wheat to your house. Okay, so futures is that different. Okay, so yeah, it's happened, Tessie. There's a guy that was posting. I was following on Reddit. He forgot to close his oil futures. Right, as you can imagine, all of this war has been going on. Blah 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 blah. He went out, forgot to close it. Yeah, he landed. He got an email, right, to say, please, where do you want this truckload to come? We can send it because when you're opening your account with your broker, right, you have to provide address. They sent it to him. He didn't respond because he was on holiday. He was traveling on holiday, so he didn't see his email. The neighbors called him and said, actually, guys, there's a truckload of oil outside. What the hell is going on here? Because he didn't close your position, so it closes automatically. So they will send it to your house. Options, they don't do anything because he didn't activate it. So that's what it is. Okay, there's no decay. Me, I talked about Tether because if the date, so for example, you bought options, is going to expire on the 31st of July. As we're getting close to 31st of July, the value of that contract is reducing because anyone that buys it off you does not have enough time for price to go back and hit that target that you want to, that strike price that you have. For futures, none of that exists. Okay. Now, in futures, a few $1,000s of margin can control the position worth many times more. So essentially, as I mentioned, you're actually opening margin trades, right? You're not trading with your real money because if you think about it, a barrel of oil, if it's $78 or $88, you might not have all of that money. Okay, but you can just trade the margin difference. So some platform will say, okay, we're only going to take like 1% margin of the value of a barrel of oil. So if a barrel of oil is $100, they might take $1 from you to control the price. But if you sell in profit, you get the full profit. Okay, so if oil moves from 100 to 110, you get full $10, even though you were trading with $1. Okay, so you trade with margins. Now, in futures as well, the way prices move, right, matters, right? So it's called points, and you guys are going to hear this a lot. So when you hear points in the stock market, it means $1. It means dollar move. So 1 point is $1 move. 2 points is $2. 3 points is $3. That's what it is. It's called dollars. Okay. Now it's super important. One of the things that is really important in futures trading is because you're not using all of your money, as you guys know, nobody can treat your money better than yourself. Okay? So the broker will give you margin to trade. And historically, people tend to get carried away by the margin they have because it's not their money. But there's a consequence for that. Okay? If you over leverage and you lose, you're going to pay that money back. Okay. So what we do, and I think we'll talk about this down the line, is you can use brokers that gives you this margin, but have certain controls around so you don't exceed it. Okay. So the maximum you can lose is for you is $50, even though you're trading with a $50,000 margin. Okay. You don't get held to pay it back. You don't get, say, okay, you lost 2,000, you're going to pay the 2,000 back. You only lose your $50. And we'll talk about that later. These are prop firms, by the way. Okay. So essentially, this is what we're looking at. The difference between options trading is that one, you get a premium. This other ones you trade with margins. Okay. I think everyone is following us so far, right? I'm seeing some reactions, and that's really good. Now,
Yes.
Mia, could you go to the next slide so we can just obviously cover it? I think I can see it with the next one. Now, in futures, okay, the most popular instrument, it's called instruments. The most popular instruments that people trade on futures are the indices. Okay. Now, when you trade in options, the most popular instruments people trade in options are also the indexes, but you can trade Apple, Meta, or whatever. When it comes to futures, the most popular instruments people trade are the indexes. Now, I think most of you have an idea of what indexes are, but I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay. Now, the Nigerian stock exchange, Nigerian stock market. Okay. What they do is they have the number of businesses or shares or stocks that trade on the stock market. So you have, Dangote Group or Dangote Cement, Nestle, GT Bank, whatever it is. Okay. That table, okay, has all those companies. Then it tells you how much they're trading, So today, Dangote traded at 500 naira per share. Tomorrow, it traded at 510 naira per share. Okay, so it would say plus 10 profits, right? So the price has gone up plus 10. GT Bank used to trade at 1,000 naira per share, but now it's trading at 990, right? So it will be minus 10. Okay, that table you see is called an index. So it's indexing the change, the difference in the price. Okay, that's what the stock market is. So when you look at the stock market, you are actually looking at an index. Okay, now all of you know what the S&P 500 index is, right? Right? Everyone knows that, right? I'm going to wait for the reactions to come through. Right. So the
Yes.
S&P 500,
Oh,
yes,
please.
yes. So the S&P 500 tracks 500 of the largest companies in America by market capitalization. Okay, so that's what it does. Now, the futures, S&P 500 has both the S&P 500 as the index, and then it has S&P 500 as futures. So futures essentially is the part of the market where people are trying to estimate where the index would move, and they're very accurate. So futures tracks the main index, or the main index tracks futures. So for example, if you're looking at this screen, this is the S&P 500, okay? This was Thursday. So on Thursday, the price went up and then it came down, okay? On Friday, it went up and it came down. If you look at the S&P 500 futures, the same thing happened. On Thursday, when the market opened, it went up, then it came down. On Friday, it went up and it came down. Okay? So the futures of this thing is what people trade. They trade the S&P 500 futures. They trade NASDAQ futures. So NASDAQ is 100 of the top tech stocks. That's what NASDAQ is. Anyone asking? S&P 500 is 500 of the largest companies in America by market cap. NASDAQ is 100 of the tech companies. So your Google, Amazon. The thing is, NASDAQ companies are also inside S&P 500 companies, okay? So Apple, Google, Meta, Nvidia, they're all, because they're the largest companies in America, they are also within NASDAQ. SpaceX is now in NASDAQ. They also have Russell 2000 futures, which is 2000 of the industrial or mid-size companies. So any company making between 4 billion and 200, or any company worth between 4 billion and 200 billion, they can choose to list on the Russell 2000. We have gold. This is gold futures. Okay. I mean, there's you can do ETF, Bitcoin futures, whatever it is. I don't touch crypto because everyone knows it's crazy. So we have those futures. So futures are what is traded the most. That's why it's here. Now, in those futures, because of how volatile it is, it's split into two. You have the micros and you have the minis. Okay, the minis is the standard size. Okay, so minis is standard size. Micros is 1/10 the size of it. So all of you that are starting here, you're going to be trading the smaller version. Why? Because it's cheaper, it's easier to monitor. Okay, and frankly, you're going to quickly understand. It's going to help your psychology when you're trading. Okay, we'll talk about this as we go down. When you join our communities, we'll have the sessions we're going to explain to you. Okay, so this is what it is. Now, the way futures move, right? As remember when I was saying before, futures is calculated in points. Okay, so if price goes from 5,000 to 5,001, it's moved 1 point. Okay, it's moved 1 point. If it goes from 5,001 to 5,002, it's moved 2 points. If it comes back to 5,001, it's come back 1 point. So every time you hear points, is one move. And that move is in $1, right? So 5,000 to $5,001. So 5,000 and 5,001 just means it's moved by $1. Now, inside that 1 point is divided into 4 places. Okay? Each point is divided into 4. That each of those 4 places is called a tick. Now, I'll tell you why they call it a tick. This is because when the index is showing the price of futures for, say, the S&P 500 futures, it doesn't show, let's say the price is 7,000. And I'll just show you here so you understand. As the price, this is going to be easier to understand. Okay. Now, on the corner here, can you guys see the top right of my screen? Yes.
Yes.
It says yes. Now, the closing price of S&P 500 futures is 7,497.75. Now, this 75 is important. Okay. What that means is when you're looking at price playing out, it would never show you 76 or 77 or 78. It only shows in decimal points, it only shows you 25 to 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, or 00. That's 4. That's why you have 1 point has 4 ticks. Okay? And I can show you here example. I can replay the market from Friday. So you can see, I'll reduce the speed so you can pay attention to what's happening. Okay? So this is a replay. Keep an eye out on the price here or here, but maybe keep an eye out on the price. You would notice that the decimal points never shows you anything like 23 or 20 or 18 or 19. If you look at other stocks, so for example, Nvidia closed at 202.81. Google closed at 346.77. You are not going to see these numbers in futures. It's only in 25, 00, 25, 50, or 75 here. Okay? It's gone up to 50, 00, 25, 00, 25. So when it's coming down, it never shows, it only shows you in 0.25 lots. Okay? That's why when you are counting lots, it will tell you that it has 4 ticks. So 1 point has 4 ticks. Now, each of those tick is calculated in dollars. If you move 1 tick, which is 0.25, right? And then you move another tick, 0.25, you make 5.0. And then it moves another tick. So each point that it moves, you make money. So in this case, a 0.25 move. So 1 tick move, you're going to make $1.25. Another tick move, you make another 1.25. So if the price of the index moves 1 point, it's going to be 1.25 times 4, which is $5. Okay, so each 1 point move, you're going to make $5 from from the micros. So every point, $5. Now, if remember, with futures, with options, it's different. Your options, if the price goes up, it goes up, and the profit you make is based on how quick your delta is moving. Again, don't worry too much about this. Over time, you understand it. This is how you make your profit. If the price goes from 7,400 to 7,401, you're going to make $5. If it goes from 7,401 to 402, make another $5. 403, make another $5. So each 1 point move is $5 in there. Inversely, each one point move opposite where you think is going to go, you lose $5. Okay? Now, you can lose less. You can lose $2.50. That's if you move 0.5, right? If you move 0.25, you lose 125. So each 1 point move, you make $5. Each 1 point move in favor of your direction, you make $5. Each 1 point move against where you're going, you lose $5. That's how futures work. Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Good. I can show you an example quickly before we go in there. So I was playing a replay here. Start new one. Let's just say let's do a quick trade, right? From the weekend. Now I'm gonna play. This is Friday when market open. I can say, okay, I want to buy. I'll buy one. Let me just buy one. Okay. This is how futures work. I say I'll buy one.
We are
You're
not
not sure.
sharing the
Okay.
screen.
I'm not sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna start it again. Okay. So I'm sharing now, right? So you guys can see?
Yeah.
Good. It's this. Okay. So we're looking at the minis, right? So that's what me I was just showing. So this is the mini screen. This is Friday. Essentially what market did on Friday, it went up and then it came down a bit and then it just kind of tanked. Okay. So if I replay, start new. So let's replay Friday. Let's say from here. Okay. And say play. So we're seeing prices going down. So what I'll do is I'll buy one mini bot. Okay. So the price is now below here, you would see. So every time price goes up, because I bought, as price is going up, I'm making money. I'm up 287. It starts to, because I bought here, this is where I bought. If price starts to come down, I start to lose money. So it's gone from 200, it's coming down, right? If it goes back up, the price go up. So now I can sell. Because I'm already in profit, I can say, okay, I've made 227. I can click, I can sell. I've closed, I'm done. Right? I've sold. If I scroll down, you see my profit here, 266. So for futures, it's just simple. You buy and you sell. There's no options, you're not holding for a long time. But I recommend it to buy and sell on the same day. Okay? That's what it is. As price is coming down, I can sell one, right? And then as price continues to go down, we're making money. So it's in addition to what I've put before. So I'm up to 81. It's adding to what I made. I made 226 before, right? So now I've bought this one again and it's going. We'll just see. So when price goes up, because I sold, which is what I'm expecting price to come down. When price goes up, it will now close shortly because market is closed. So it will shut down. Okay. Yeah, close that position. So for the day, I made $293. That's it. So futures is pretty straightforward. You just buy and sell. And that's it. If the price is going up and you think price is going to go up, you buy. Price is coming down, you sell. And then you close the position. So that's what it is. So because you can make money either way. Price going up, you buy, you sell there. Price coming down, you sell there, and then you buy here to cover there. Okay? That's how it works. So you go long or you come short. Said that in the community chat. Is that clear? Yeah?
Yes, it is.
Good. I know.
Yeah.
I know this is super straightforward. Good. Mia, next slide, please. Let's just cover this. I know I'm keeping an eye on time. I don't want to keep everyone all day today. Now, If you might think it's pretty straightforward, that this is where it becomes super important. Okay, when you're trading, and because I'm sure you guys have already heard, can one do futures on trade 02? I don't think so, but I'll find out. I'll let you guys know the different platforms you can trade futures on that where our guys use. Okay, it's super important for you to know when you're entering a trade and when you're exiting a trade. And I think this is where the next class or the next sessions, or it's super important for you to be part of our community because it's very important to understand technical analysis that allows you to look at the markets and know what is happening. Because you don't just jump into trades because it's going up, you buy and then you sell. Okay, you need to be able to apply some rationale as to why you're buying and where you're going to sell. This is what this page is advising. You need to decide your entry, decide your exit before you buy a stock. Okay, you can't just jump in because you see green because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, there are certain things that we look at in the markets that gives us that sort of affirms our thesis, right? So you have a thesis about why you want to take a trade, okay? But why are you taking it? Okay, what is the rationale behind it? Okay, because trading is never guaranteed. You're never guaranteed to make money or lose money. Okay, actually, no, you're not guaranteed to make money. You are guaranteed to lose money. But what you want to do is you want to give yourself the best possible chance at making money, which means you want to only take high probability trades, not guaranteed trades. No trade is guaranteed. It's about probabilities. Okay. So based on how this stock typically acts, right? What is the likely outcome when it's at a specific place, when it's at a specific price? Now, that's something that we can discuss, obviously, once you get in our classes. For everyone that is in our community, they're super familiar with this. This is why we encourage people to come because we do this daily. We have live trading sessions every at least once to twice a week, right? Where we come on calls and say, this is what I'm thinking about trading. This is what I'm thinking about buying. This is what I'm thinking about buying. This is what I'm thinking about buying as selling. This is the reasons why I think I want to buy based on what's happening in the market. And this is where I'm looking to enter. This is where I'm looking to exit. So we have all of those conversations, right? And I'm not sure if anyone from the community is on the call, but they can attest to that. Daily, we send what is called trade ideas, what we're looking for based on our deep research and analysis, right? And what we think you should be keeping an eye out for, and where the high probability entries and exits are. Super important. Every trade gets 3 numbers before you click: your entry, your target, and your stop. So your entry is where you buy. Your target is where you take profit. Your stop is if things don't go as I expect, where do I exit the trade? That's where your stop is. It's called a stop loss. Okay. So you got entry, you got targets, and you have stop loss. The other way as well. You got entry, you got targets, and you got stop loss. So super important to have those. Okay. Because if you don't, then what would happen is you end up being in a trade forever and it's going to run into stuff. Okay. Next slide. Now, this is some of the technicalities we use to trade, right? So if you have an account that is worth 2,000, what you should be risking is around $20. You want to risk $20 to make maybe $40 or to make $30. Okay, you don't always have to make 100%. You might risk $20 to make $25. Okay, so it's super important. So sizing is key. The smaller your account, the smaller the risk you should be taking. Because remember, as I mentioned, trading is not guaranteed. The only thing guaranteed in trading is you're likely to lose money. If you're not disciplined, you're going to lose more than you make more. Okay, so sizing is super important. It allows you to stay in the game long enough for your trades to play out. All professionals, even here in the city, right? Traders with $1 million accounts, they only risk a small portion of it. Okay, because it's important to give yourself the chance to take more trades in the future, to be in the game long enough for you to make money. Okay? Mia, next slide, please. Good. Now, I've spoken a lot about the community. Okay? What we do is, these are some of the things we share in the community. For example, on the top right of the screen, that is my target. So what we do typically for our new beginners, we set a daily target of either $100 or $200 or $300 every day. You hit that, you stop trading. Or you hit $100 a day, you stop trading. Some of our community members have a target of $50 every day. Trading options. Say, okay, I want to buy here and sell there. The example I showed you guys, we made over $290, right? Trading those meanings. You buy, you sell. So you might have a target and say, okay, I'm a beginner. I don't want to take crazy risks. I want to be able to learn. I just want to make $50 a day. Now, it sounds very simple, but this is what $50 a day is. In a month, is $1,000. In 1 year, is 12 grand. 12 grand is 24 million naira in pounds, for example. Okay. Or is 19 million naira if you're using dollars to convert it. Now, I don't know who, I don't know, I'm not gonna guess I'm not gonna guess what your financial circumstance is on the call, but I'm pretty sure if you have an endeavor or an enterprise, if you live in Nigeria, that is bringing you around 18 to 15 million, 20 million naira a year, I'm pretty sure you're going to consider it. If you live overseas and you have an enterprise or an endeavor that brings you around $1,000 or £1,000 a month, 12 grand a year, where you spend maybe an hour maximum a day, sometimes 5 minutes, I think it's worth considering. Okay. So ultimately, the goal for trading, you start small, you're consistent, and you see your rewards. There's no need, if you go on social media, which is one of the things I have an issue with when it comes to trading on social media, every furu, we call them furu, financial gurus, they want to tell you how they make $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000. We don't do that here, which is why TGM has been that successful. We want to be honest, real, and be realistic. Okay? $50 a day is a game changer wherever you live. If you think it's hard, ask someone to give you $1,000 a month. If you think it's too small, ask for $1,000 a month as a gift, and let's see who can give you. Right? It's that simple. So what we do is we encourage people in our community to build three main skills. Right? Trade. You need to be able to understand the market and the structure and where to enter and exit, where to set your stop loss. You need to develop risk management. Everyone knows this, but sometimes we struggle. For example, you should spend less than you earn. That's risk management. If you're making 1 million naira a month, for example, right? The goal is to make sure that your monthly expenses is far less than what you earn. Okay? If you're making $2,000 or £2,000, your earnings, your spends should be less than you earn. That's risk management. You're managing it because something could happen, right? So, if it happens in the future, you want to be able to cover some of those expenses. Spending more than you earn is just risky way of living. There's no risk management there. So we teach you market structure and price action, risk management, and the most important skill you need to trade, trader psychology. Okay? What it feels like to be a trader. Now, it sounds simple, but you're going to quickly realize that it's going to be one of the most difficult skill sets to develop. And we encourage you and help you develop that skill set, okay, to be a successful trader. Right? Mia, next slide. Right. I think I would just kind of highlight this because I think this is super important. You've got 3 rules here that you're going to follow. Okay, I think as time goes, you're going to understand this. Okay. First of all, you don't revenge trade. And this is part of psychology. If you lose money, okay, the urge to feel like you can make it back would come. I guarantee you're going to feel it. As you begin this journey, you're going to understand this. Okay? But because trading or successful trading is a marathon, not a sprint, it's not a get rich quick scheme. You are going to develop habits that help you overcome revenge trading. You're going to develop habits that help you journal every trade, because this is an important skill. To write what you were feeling, what you entered, where you exited, that helps you become better. The third skill is to be patient. All of these are trader psychology that allows you, okay, to be able to improve the skills that will help you become successful. Okay, so I think this is why TGM continues to be one of the leading communities for women across Africa and in the diaspora for developing skills that can help you improve income. Because whether we like it or not, we live in societies where income is super important. The world is changing rapidly, okay? And it's important for us as minorities outside Africa or as Africans in Africa to develop skill sets that help us close the gap and not get killed and share ideas. Okay, we've seen that happen within, within the tech industry. When I was on Facebook, and for those of you that know me, I continue to talk about education, pivoted into tech because we saw those what it could do. Okay, and today there are tons of success stories. Finance also provides an opportunity. In finance, because you're putting real money on the ground and the consequences for bad decisions are immediate, it's very important for you to take a beat and go through that journey, with the right consistency, with the right skills and the right tools, and the right community to help you. Because yes, we are community, we are beginner friendly at TGM. Mia has built an incredible network where you can relate to everybody's experience. Okay, there are beginners, there are developers there that have improved their skill sets. There are experienced traders as well that can share their journey to tell you how they started, where they were, where you were before, where you're going to be. Okay, where you felt like everything was like jargon. Okay, but a month later, 2 months later, it starts to sink in. You start to understand. You then develop your own style. I mean, trading is. I always say trading is like makeup, right? And, we have all of these basic products that women use. But when you start to apply your makeup, you start to understand which is the right color. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but which is the right color, which is the right style or shade. So you develop that skill, and then that kind of brings out your persona. And I think this is what it is. You're going to trade based on the kind of person you are. To say, oh, I like to trade on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I feel more relaxed. Or I like to trade meta, or I like to trade futures, or I like to trade options. That's what I relate to. That's how easy it is for me. And I think TGM provides this 100%. Okay. Next slide, Mia.
Yeah, thank you, Charles.
Yeah.
This is the
Good. So I'm gonna go through this, right? And I think you guys did amazingly well when we did the ones for options. So let's try this now. A futures contract is A, right? So is it one where you have a right to walk away from, or one where you have a binding obligations for both sides, or a type of savings bond? Yeah.
Binding
Okay.
Binding
Of course.
An
obligation.
Yes.
obligation.
Exactly. Because they're going to, you think they're joking? They're going to bring that with to your house in Lagos. Okay. They will pack it in front of your gate in Lekki or Ikeja, wherever you are. They will ship it in. Believe me, because it's on paper, they have to deliver it to you. There's a binding obligations from both sides. Now, this is a bit of a calculation. So MES moves 10 points in your favor. Roughly, what did you make on one contract?
$50.
Oh man, you guys are amazing. Amazing. Well done. And you understand how it works, right? So 1 point has 4 ticks because 1 point is made up of 24. So think about it in percentages. 1 point is made up of 4 25%, right? So 25, 50, 75, and 100. So that's 1 point. Each percentage, so 0.25, you get 1 point, you make 1.25. Okay, so 1.25 you make. So it moves from 0.25, 1.25. So 1.25 times 4 is 5. And then 5 times 10 is 50. Okay? Now, when is the best moment to decide when your exit is? Is it while the trade is losing?
Before you
Or is it
ever
when it's
Before you
enter.
enter.
Before you even
exactly?
enter.
Exactly. Exactly. When you look at the charts, you say, okay, I can see the chart price is going up and coming down. But it looks like every time it goes up and it comes down, it doesn't break this place. It always comes and goes up. Therefore, when it's going back up, I'm going to enter. It looks like price always gets here before it turns down. So here's going to be my exit. But if it breaks below this place that is dumping, then I exit the trade. This is before you enter the trade. Because what you're doing is you're setting your risk Okay. And you don't need to move it. You don't need to say, oh my God, let me be hopeful. Maybe it might go back. No, you keep it. If it hits it, you go, okay. Today is this trade was a loss. Then you journal and go, okay, my thesis was right, but the market didn't agree with me. And that's how you become a better trader. Okay. Now I think this is 3/3. Well done, guys. The questions that have been asked in the community and in the chats. But Mia, do you want to go next slide? I don't know if there's anything else I need to cover on here.
Thank you,
Um,
Charles.
Brilliant. Let me answer the questions in the chat, but I'm
Yeah.
still here, okay? Good.
Yeah, thank you so much, Charles. And yeah, to everyone on this call, we really try, look at it, it's 2 hours and we're still here. And we know that everyone has things to do. There's just so much more for you to learn. Options is amazing. It is complicated. Trading psychology is insane. Like I've cried just from like a trade going bad, and I've like laughed and smiled and like every week just from trading, I try to tell myself if I have a good trading week, I do lobster pasta. Like they know me in the community, I'm like, it's lobster pasta week or it is I'm going to go and cry week, you know. But like it has changed my life. Like I've gone from working in office 5 days a week to waking up in the morning, doing my trades in the morning and spending the rest of my day working on the rest of my businesses. And for me, that is the life that I've always wanted. And I'm so glad that I stuck through the bad. I'm still sticking through the bad. Some days it's really challenging, but that's the whole point of having a community and being in a community of people that are going through the same things that you are, that are walking the same journey, right? It changes the way that you trade, it changes the way that you see everything, right? So that is why I'm telling you that if you want to take your journey the next step further, right, we have an offer for you that is going to land in your inbox. So check your inbox. There's a special offer from TGM Trades coming in exclusively for the women in this community on this call tonight, right? Click it, claim on it before it expires. We're also going to send you the link to this recording and the link to this recording so that you can watch this, right? Maybe you want to start trading this week. I want to see what Mia's saying about calls and puts, right? Or what Charles said about futures trading, right? I want you to go rewatch this class, right? And then you should go on the Girls Manual YouTube page. We have a couple of free technical analysis classes and live trading classes that are public for you there that you can watch if you wanted to take a step into technical analysis or you're wondering how does the live trading classes work in the Girls Manual. You would see the videos on our YouTube page. So subscribe so that you can get alerted for when we post more videos. And you can kind of get a vibe of how the community is and how our live trading goes and what technical analysis is. What we're really trying to do, especially as summer starts to round up very soon for futures trading, we just started a new batch of futures traders within the community, and Charles is going to be putting them through how to get a funded account. So this is the fun part with futures trading. You don't have to trade with your money. You just need to get a funded account. So with options, you're trading with your money. With futures, you don't have to trade with your money. They are prop firms. They're called prop firms. They give you an account, right, with money in it. You have to pass your, excuse me, there is a test that you have to do. So you have to pass to get a funded account. And that is what we do in our community. We teach you how to get that funded account, right? We put you through getting the funded account, right? And then they give you an account with $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, right? And then you trade futures with that account. But there are strict rules. You cannot lose more than a certain percentage, right? And you don't owe, even if you lose that money, you don't owe that money that you lose, right? They just take that account back from you and you have to go through the process all over again. That is the fun part about futures. So for those of you that feel like, oh, I don't have money, I don't have, money to start options trading, but I really want to trade, futures can be a really good starting point for you. Honestly, the best way to do it is to start with options, because once you're a good options trader, being a good futures trader is so much easier. It is just so much easier because options is slightly more complicated than futures, right? And options is more rewarding in terms of like the returns you get, with options trading. But futures is, more stable and definitely really, really great. But I want you to think about where you are at in life right now and what works best for you. And then click on the links in your inbox and come join us in the community. We're going to take questions for the next 10 minutes before we call it a day. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you have questions, please feel free to raise your hand so that we
Yes,
can.
yes. Happy to answer any questions, guys. Before we let you guys go.
Hi, Han. Your hands were raised.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Anne to unmute, then she can talk. All right, go on,
Yeah.
Anne. Yeah,
Sorry, I'm trying to.
Right.
we can hear
Sorry.
you. Yeah.
I'm just wondering because I'm interested in joining TGM. Every time I try to join, I'm only skeptical about the time zone because it seems to be more US focused. So, how about those of us that are in the UK? How do you plan to accommodate us, especially the time zone? For example, the signal. How do we, because the time zone is very different. So if there is a signal, it might be our midnight, while it might be your morning. So how do you plan to accommodate those of us that are in the UK? Thank you.
I'll answer that because I live in London anyway. So hi, Anne. So
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Thank
don't
you.
worry, I'm here. So I'll let you know. We so the US stock. So we mostly trade the US stock market. Why? Because the US stock market is the biggest, right? There's more stuff flows. The US stock market has opening times. Okay, so the New York Stock Exchange using UK time now, which is currently the same as Nigerian time. So currently 7 minutes past 6 in the UK, which is the same in Nigeria. If you use the same time now, because I know obviously our clock is going to move backwards in September. The US stock market opens from 2:30 p.m. UK time to 9 p.m. Okay? Same thing in Nigeria, guys. So the US stock market which we trade, they open from 2:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. So from the afternoon until early evening, which is 2:30 p.m. in UK and time, which is currently the same as Nigerian time, is 9:30 a.m. Eastern US Eastern Standard Time, which is the same time in New York, because the stock market is based in New York. Okay, so what that means is when the day starts. So I'll give you an example of how it works in the community. In the mornings, during the day, people go about their stuff. Afternoon, lunchtime, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, we post the ideas of what we're looking forward to in the market. Admin would post the market snapshot. I would post what I'm thinking about. Mia does the same thing, and a bunch of our other experienced community members do that. So you have all that information there, okay? And then when the market opens, we share what we're looking at, what we're thinking about, and what that's going to go, what's going to happen, right? We do that all the time. So community members do that. Now, towards the end of the week, as I mentioned, we get around 1 to 2 live sessions in the week, mostly on Fridays. So on Fridays, we come live on Zoom. Community members log in. We share the screen and say, this is what, and they see how we take trades. And we tell, okay, I'm going to this trade. They trade with us, okay? And they exit with us. We do that all the time. Okay. So the time zones for the US market works really great actually for us because me personally, as I say personally, second half of the day and in the evenings, I'm mostly free anyway, so I can trade, right? So if in the UK or in Nigeria, if you're trading options, 9:30 a.m. from 9:30 p.m. Sorry, from 2:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's options. If you're trading futures, the futures market opens 23 hours every day. It opens from 11 p.m. today, yeah, to 10 p.m. the next day. And it closes for 1 hour and it opens again. So it's open 23 hours a day. So essentially, you can trade futures anytime you want. When it opens, when it opens from 11 o'clock, the market is moving. It will move all the way to 10 p.m. and then it will close for 1 hour and then it will reset and open. So Monday to Friday. So for example, the market would open tomorrow. 11 p.m. tomorrow, the futures market would open until 10 p.m. on Monday for 1 hour, then it opens again. So you're going to see people trade from 10 p.m. 11 p.m. tomorrow. If you're trading futures, the market opens. So there's opportunities to trade then, but ideally we like to trade when from 2:30 p.m. until 9 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Also,
You're
so
welcome.
which app do we use for the UK?
We've been leaving the messages of the apps in the comments. So depending on where you are,
I'm
admin can
mostly
assist.
seeing Canada and the Nigerian. I
Oh,
didn't see.
in the UK, Trade Zero or IBKR. But again, we help you get those set up in the community. So Trade
Okay.
Zero, which is trade and zero, one word.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah, I saw
IBKR.
that. I thought it was for
Yes.
Nigeria.
It's the
Yeah.
same, is available as well.
Okay.
Okay, two more hands. I think
Okay, sorry. One more before you go. From the
sure.
message, Mia responded to someone about. She said that she's running two groups. One, you are the one running the one for the Nigeria, while she's running the high end one. So which group will you advise us that are in the UK to join? Is it the Nigerian
You're
one
going
or
to
the
get an email. So you get an email with links, right? So you get an
Okay,
email. So
yeah,
we've talked about
yeah.
two products, right? So we've talked about options and we've talked about futures, right? And
Mhm.
we understand the dynamics, right? People are in Nigeria, people are overseas, two different economic realities. So we want to make sure that's fine. So you are going to get the link and then you can see the information and then select the right ones as well. Okay.
All right, thank you
That
very
would come
much.
with, yeah, you're welcome. That will come the right information. I think Wamaka and then Perpetua. Yeah. Wamaka, go on.
Okay. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have two questions.
Sure.
The first one is I wanted to know, can futures or option, can they be illiquid? Are they more like the stock market where someone has to be buying for it to be sold? Or are they like the crypto market where we can sell at any point? Right?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Okay, and
Should I answer the first one? Should I answer the
yes,
first one
yes,
first? Yeah, they're super liquid. I mean, it's the stock market. The options trading is about 600 billion a day in transactions. So there's always someone buying, always someone selling. You can't. There's always someone buying and selling. Okay. If you have an asset that is moving, the short answer is yes. It's always liquid. Someone would buy from you. Once you click on buy or once you click on sell, it will transact.
okay, all right. And then
Yeah.
Mia said something about let's try to trade the news. How do we trade the news?
Well, there are loads of news that impacts the market. So, for example, you can imagine, given the I don't know what I'm going to call it now, but I'll just stick with the word war. Given the war with Iran and the US, as you can imagine, if they announce that, oh, the war is paused or the war is this, it would affect the price of gold. Sorry, it will affect the price of oil, right? Or gold or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, so news announcements affect the movement of stock and price. Another thing that really does affect stock a lot is the announcements around. So there's economic news that comes out. So things like consumer CPI, consumer price index. There's jobs reports. There's interest rates
Okay.
changes. That's a big one. So if the bank announces that the interest is going to change, that also affects the stock price. So all of those things we cover it in the community.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, Perpetua, and then Gertrude.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Charles. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming that there are a lot of us beginners in this training, right? Or in this class.
correct, correct.
And then we choose or decide to join your community by paying,
Sure,
right?
sure. Yeah.
And is there a preference for probably more understanding on for the new people, like I want to pay or I want to join your community? Would there be a preference for us who just join to have a better understanding before we start trading? Or do you just drop signals like the whole thing is just back to back, or there's
Mm.
another maybe underlying
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
knowledge?
I
Yeah,
can
Yes.
yeah.
I can answer
Oh,
that, Charles.
oh, Mia, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So we do a bi-weekly new traders orientation, so twice a month, on Saturdays. So what we typically try to do is once you get in, your first week would definitely look very confusing because obviously conversations and chatting and app are happening, right? So and then you have the bi-weekly new traders orientation where I put you in through into options, the basics, what you need to do, what you'd be expecting from the community, how things work. And then we trade live twice every week. So on Tuesdays, I lead the live trading, and on Friday, Charles leads the live trading for futures and options. I do only options on Tuesdays, right? So those are always opportunities as well for you to get on the call, to see how we're trading, to ask your questions, and to get onboarded. So technically, you're going to have a lot of opportunities, and there's also a lot of like new traders as well too. So if you need like an accountability partner, you just have to let me or Charles know, and then we find someone in the community that'll be your accountability partner. Because one thing I've noticed is a lot of people can feel very shy asking questions on the main chat. They're like, oh, I don't want to seem stupid. I don't want to, but the reality is that there are no stupid questions. That's the truth. You're just learning, right? So there are no stupid questions, but some people can be a little bit more shy than the others. So if you need an accountability partner within the community or the group, then you let me know, you let Charles know, and we'll speak to some of the OG traders within the community to kind of be your person to bounce questions off. And we also have a lot of books as well too. So we have about 4 or 5 really great books, especially on the chatting. The chatting can be where people get confused. So we have like really great ebooks that Charles and I have put together on chatting that you also get. And then you get weekly emails, bi-weekly emails to check in with you to see where you're at, how your trading week has gone, what are you struggling with, and that you can respond back to, that comes back to Charles and I. And we are able to at least help you make sure that you're balanced out. The reality is that it is not an easy process. I'm not going to tell you that, oh, as soon as you come in, you're going to start trading and be profitable today. Well, actually, there are a couple of people that joined and they became profitable the first month of May, and then they all burnt their account because they were not listening to Charles or I. That's the truth. Because once people start to make money, what happened with the group, the current communities, they all came in and they were making so much money in May. And like they were just like making, I think like I would say the least person was probably making like 2,000. They made so much money in May, and they were not listening to all the rules that Charles was giving. Charles was like, listen, you're making a lot of money now. If you don't watch the classes, if you don't learn to chat, like, and Charles was giving that warning every day, was like, you need to go and watch the classes. You need to learn how to chat. You need to learn how to get out of positions, because if you don't, you will burn your account. And that's exactly what happened. Because they like, so that's where trading psychology comes in, right? And that's what, and I don't want that. And now, like, everybody is now relearning now, right? Now they're now relearning, now they're watching the classes. Now they're like, oh shit, you were right all along. I'm like, yes, of course. We want you to make money. And when you're making money, you can get so crazy into it and forget that there are actual fundamentals to this process. And you ignore the rules because you're like, oh my gosh, this looks like free money. It is not free money. It can mess you up if you don't follow the rules, right? So that is where the live trading comes in, the ebooks comes in, the chatting comes in. You have to watch those classes over and over again. Think about it like being in college. We call this an options trading college. You don't, when you take a class with your professor, it is, you don't read the book once and expect that you're going to grab everything. You have to go back to that textbook over. How many times did you have to read a textbook before you could pass your exams in college? You didn't read it once or twice or 3 times. You have to go through it multiple times. And that is what you have to think about, because this is not a get rich quick scheme, like Charles said. This is a lifelong skill. This is a skill that you're going to have for the next 5 years, 10 years, that can change your life. So you have to treat it like what it is, something that wants to make you money, but you also have to understand that the education piece to it is a continuous process. I'm still learning. Charles knows I belong to 5 trading groups. Like, my monthly subscriptions to trading is $1,800 a month. That is what I pay for 5 trading groups. I'm in multiple discords because I'm learning, because I don't know everything. I'm learning other people's strategies. I'm like, oh, then I'll test it out. If it doesn't work, I'm like, no, this strategy isn't working for me, right? So I'm still learning, because this is a lifelong skill. And for me, $1,800 a month in subscription fees, where I'm making $20,000 a month, is little. It's less than 10% of what I make in a month. So for me, those subscription fees is worth it, because I'm learning, and I'm always like, literally, Charles, what did I tell you I'm spending this weekend doing?
Mhm.
Recording trading classes. I'm watching chat videos, and then I'm recording classes for the people that are in the community that are struggling with chatting, right? Because you're always, and I feel like where a lot of people struggle is they think that they just need to know one thing, and that one thing would always make them money. That is not true. You have to consistently, like, last night, Charles and I were on the call for 1 hour. What were we doing? We're putting together the TGM trading journal. We're testing it. We built a trading journal and we're testing it and we're entering. Like the process is never ending. It's never ending. If you want to make good money from this, it's never ending. So that's why I want people to make sure that anybody that wants to join this, they are in the right mindset. Like, I'm ready for this. I want to change my life and I'm ready to put in the work. I'm ready to dedicate the next 6 months into a skill that will be a lifelong skill that will change my finances. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it did. So on behalf of myself and other beginners, I hope that we can as well pay in Naira, right? I can see I'm clicking the payment link and I'm trying to see if I can use my Zenith Bank card.
I think your card might be able to work. If it doesn't, just email us back, and we'll talk
Okay.
through what options are available. But you should definitely try that card. I think you should work with Stripe. Stripe is really great with like accepting all kinds of cards. But if it's not working, just email us back.
Thank you so much, Mia. I'm grateful. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, some
I
of us have
think
not received the link for the link you're
it's
talking
come.
about in the email.
Oh,
Check your
okay.
promotion. It's there. Check your promotion. I checked mine and I saw it.
Oh, promotion.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Gertrude, I think Gertrude, and then
Yeah, Gertrude.
Ogechuku. Yeah, hi Gertrude.
Hi, well done, Mia, well done, Charles. So I've been reading through the chat where people are asking recommended apps, and none of you have mentioned Robinhood. I'm currently in the UK and a beginner trader, and I'm using Robinhood. Just wondering why you've not mentioned it.
It was mentioned.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yes. I think
For
it's
people
what.
in the UK?
Yes, it was. Yes,
Okay,
so
all right, thank you.
it
Sorry,
was
maybe
there.
I missed that.
No,
Yeah,
no
sorry,
worries.
thank
Can I ask you though? Can I ask you, Gertrude? Can you?
you.
So you're talking about options, right? Options trading with
Yeah.
Robinhood. Can
hmm
you trade? Can you trade indexes so like SPY,
No, they cannot.
IWM?
They can't.
And I can't trade SPY.
Yeah, so
No,
that's
they
what it
can't
is.
in the
So
UK.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you can trade. So you can use Robinhood to trade any stock, okay,
Stock.
or shares. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
can,
I tr also trade the mini SPS. So
okay, so you trade the mini one, yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, you can. So you can trade. So yeah, so all of this you can. So if you're in the UK, you can get Robinhood because he allows you to trade on all. Actually, I have an account,
Mm,
just haven't used it. I have a Webull account
okay.
as well, but I haven't opened. I personally use IBKR because that's
Mm-hmm.
what I learned with, right? You
Oh,
just
okay.
get into a habit. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you can use Robinhood if you want to in the UK.
Okay,
To
Um,
add to add to
sorry, go
Charles's
on.
point, the reason why
uh,
we always push IBKR for the UK communities because
mhm.
for beginners, we let them start with SPY, IWM, QQQ. Those are all
Okay.
indexes that are not available for
Robin
Robinhood
Hood.
users in the
Okay.
UK. Yes, because
Yes.
it's just so much easier for you to learn. And one thing I always say is that I need you to, I don't, because with stocks, people, what happened, and this is exactly what happened in May.
Yeah.
With stocks, people do so many random things. You buy 20
Mhm.
different
Yes.
stocks, 10. We want you to be an expert on one thing first. You have to be
Okay.
an expert on one thing first. Then we can now
Okay.
add other things on top of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually,
And
it's my first
mhm,
time hearing
yeah.
hearing
mm,
IBKR. I
Yeah.
tried to open interactive, but I wasn't accepted. That's why I moved. I
That's
just try and use
that's
them.
what it is.
Robin Hood.
IBKR is interactive. Interactive brokers. So IB, then I, then BRK.
So I
That's IB.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't accepted anyway for that
Yes.
one.
And that's what, and I think, yeah, there's some of limitations, which, I mean, that's a, this is another thing that kind of follows you because you are, because you've got a Nigerian documentation. So it's easier to
Mhm.
use a different platform. Apologies for that. Eventually, I do think eventually um, people would be able to trade the indices on there. Sorry, guys, if the question was super technical for those who are not aware, it's just a platform question. So in the UK, we've got different platforms. So Robinhood is another platform you can use in the UK, okay? I don't think Robinhood as a platform is available in Nigeria yet, so you can't use that. The one we know that works from Nigeria, where most of our community members use, is called Trade Zero. Okay. Thank you, Gertrude.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Yeah. Ogechuku, I think so. Yeah. Ogechuku, can you hear me? I think you're next because you raised your hands. I don't think she's next to her phone. Okay. Stay on the
Hello.
phone. Oh, okay. There she is.
Oh,
Hi.
I'm sorry. I was trying to mute my phone.
Sure.
I had two questions, and the first one, I think someone already answered it in the chat. It was about getting access to the video, the tape recording
Yes.
of the whole. But I think they said they were going to send it to our inbox, so that's
Yes.
answered.
So it's easier. So it's easy. So obviously, once we're done, see as the recording works. Once it's done, I mean, you'll see links anyway to because you'll get those links sent to you. So that's fine.
Okay, so my other question is,
Cool.
so I've dabbled into investing before, and I've been burnt so bad, so I'm very
Standard
skeptical.
stuff. Standard.
So I think I slept halfway through the whole thing because I worked last night.
Oh,
So I'm sorry, I'm very tired.
oh,
I'm
that's
not sure if
okay.
you guys have already mentioned this, but you were saying something about the community. So I just want to make sure that are you referring to the TGM trading group, the one that I got the notification in my email, um, the one for $150 every month? Is that what you're referring to? And if that's what you're referring to, hello Mia, what you said earlier about having access to the resources, are they all going, like if I subscribe every month, am I gonna have access to those resources every month? That's my question. Like the videos,
Yeah.
that's me. I talked about the ebook and all of that. Before I
Yeah.
start investing, will I have access to all of that when I subscribe?
Yeah, you get like once you get onboarded, the first email will give you a link to the vaults, to the ebooks and everything else. And then you join the community. There'll be a lot of chatter in the first week, at least pending when you have the onboarding videos, right? Or the new members orientation, which like we said is twice a month. So you might join like on day one, and then the orientation is not for another 7 to 14 days when you join, right? But we always encourage you to use that time to catch up on the vault, the classes, the videos, practicing, asking questions within the community, reading your ebooks, joining the live trading. We have 2 live trading every week, right? I run one, Charles runs the other one. Joining those sessions every week and just like using that. So by the time you do eventually make it to your new members orientation, you're already very well versed in what is going on in the community at that point.
Okay. So that I would have access to all of this as long as my subscription is active, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
Um,
IMM, MM, and
okay,
then
Charles, I was just trying
in
to
your
leave a
lower.
message for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Go on then.
Yeah. So the question I have has to do with students in the US on
Right.
visa. How
Right.
does their status affect or impact their ability to trade in the US?
Right. Mia, saying I know you're closer to US regulations,
Sorry,
but
I
you
missed the
can
question. What was the question?
you students in the US looking to trade.
Yeah, many of them do trades, to be
Yeah.
honest. You just have to like make sure you can't run away from the tax man, so you have to report that on your taxes for sure. But like some students definitely do trade. I've not heard of like a fallback yet on students
Mhm.
trading. But definitely I have seen a lot of students that do trade in the US.
Yeah.
But
I think
the
yes.
way
Yeah.
the way the current climate is, just gotta play your cards
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
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 Well, presume. Yeah. Well, I think typically when you're opening your accounts, right, they ask the relevant questions to be able to advise
Mm.
you. I mean, that's expected. So if you have an account open and if you make an income from trading, I think you just need to report it, right? I think you then report it for your taxes. Typically, that
Yeah.
would be sufficient. But I think it's always a good idea to just double check based on your location, local laws. Obviously, I don't think local laws will matter here. I think it'll be federal laws, but generally
Exactly.
I think that would be fine because I mean you can make income because
It's
the
tricky
I don't
because
think an
like
income is sorry, I just want to say this point. Me, I don't so as a student, presumably you're allowed to earn to get employment, right? The employment law is around the hours you would work, not necessarily how much
mhm.
you can make. right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No,
So
it also has to do. It also has to do with if you are a student, you are only entitled to work 20 hours, and it must be on campus, and of course, it's reported.
yes,
If
so
you are
that's
on
employment,
OPT
right?
after
Hmm.
graduation, yes, if you're
Hmm.
on OPT after graduation, you are entitled to work 40 hours, but it must be in line with what you have studied. So you cannot be like an engineering and you have any income from customer service or something like that. So that's just the issue that I've always considered when it comes to trading. Like you don't want to, of course, reporting is not the issue. You can report, but you don't want something that will mess up your journey, like your immigrant status and all this kind of stuff eventually in the future
Um,
when they
You
call out for
can
that.
you
So,
so yeah.
what I want to add, Charles, to
Hmm.
that was that I remember like this was a conversation when we were in college, which was that could you have shares or could you not have shares? And my student counselor then had said I could have shares. So, because I wanted to start buying shares when I was in grad school. So it's the same process in my opinion, because your shares is making money, right? Whether you're
Yes,
spending that
yes,
money or not, your shares is making money, right? It's an
yeah.
investment. And it's
I
also like the same thing, like, could you buy real estate or could you not buy
mm-hmm,
real estate? You can buy real
mm-hmm,
estate, you can buy a property that is
yeah,
making money. You can put that property on rent that is making money, right? So those things are not banned. It's kind of like what Charles said, tied to the hours, tied to what you're
yeah,
doing. But then again, speak to your student's advisor 100%
yeah,
is what I always tell people,
yeah,
because these advisors are very funny. They give different advice to
yeah.
different people. But
I
I could
remember,
start to
yes.
own
Mm-hmm,
shares from
mm-hmm,
college, from grad
mm-hmm,
school, even when I was in the UK and the US, and those
yeah,
never affected me. I came in here so as a student, right? And if you can own shares, then yes, 100%. It's the same process because your shares are making money. If you can own property, then yes, that is an investment and that is making money. It is an
yeah.
investment that is not requiring you actually working hours. So, but again, check in with them.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, so just check. I know that generally, I remember I had the conversation before with someone. There's a different timeline, so it must have changed. I do know generally you can trade if it because it's usually classed as passive income because you're not spending like 24 hours. I mean, the assumption is you're not spending like, 40 hours or whatever trading. You're just seeing that, you're just getting through, yeah, and using your own funds, right? Um, uh, it's because it's not you're not employed. It's your own money. You're using your money to do whatever you want. I think as long as you have like a social security number or taxpayer, what's it called? Taxpayer identification. I think that typically helps. So it will be viewed. Maybe you might need to get. I think they're probably you just need to make sure you're just double checking how you're trading because if it becomes large scale, you don't want to be termed like a business, which tends to think about it like F1 or is it F1 or J? I don't remember which of them. If it's, is it F1 or J1? I don't remember what student visa is. But yeah. And also I think, as I mentioned before, the the brokerage firm, the brokerage platform you're using would always sort of say if you're allowed to. I know like Charles Schwab, which is Thinkorswim and IBKR, they accommodate those stuff, but it's a good idea to just check, just see. But usually, yes. I mean, I've got people that used to be students different, but just make sure that you just double check with your advisors in school. But I think typically it's classed as a passive income. Hope that helps clarify.
I'm sorry to add, sorry.
Mhm.
I think this issue of student visa is really a gray area. What and
Yeah.
the best is for the person to ask their student advice because I know, for example, in the UK, I know someone who was refused ILR because he's making money on TikTok. So I don't know if it's different with
Hmm.
investing in stock or so, but
Yeah.
I normally you wouldn't consider that as a second job, right?
Yeah.
But the person was denied ILR because of that because he came on care work and he's doing that, which is not so. So I think the best is to ask the student and also ask different people. My advice is always ask different people, not just one person, because those people tend not to know the actual thing. And when
Yeah.
it
Agree.
backfires, it's just directly to you. So ask different advisors and get their opinion. Then from there, you can filter what you think is the right answer according to your own situation.
Sure, sure. Thank you. All right, just keep an eye on the time. Just make sure we're not, because I think folks need to get all that stuff done. I think we've got TT, Yomi Dupopo, and then AK Ibrahim. Then we can obviously, any other questions, you can always answer via email or in the community. Go on,
Yeah,
TT. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Hi, this is Titi Olopade. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
yes.
You're probably going to tell me to piss off. I mean, to switch off. I got late to the party. Obviously, because I've just been so busy. So I trade CFD, and I've just recently just got into trading futures, and I understand this call is for options. So do we sign up for training, or because I missed half of it? I won't lie to you. So
Okay, so
I
it's
don't
in
know.
the it's top. It's on the top. The subject. It's options and futures. Yeah. So
Yeah, I do futures
the,
already. I do futures through prop
okay,
firms.
okay,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. So any additional information you need, they're gonna. So the admin will shoot across an email, right?
Okay,
And then you'll
okay,
get information in the email, both the recording and the materials
okay,
we've
okay.
shared, and some additional
Oh,
information. So
fantastic.
keep an eye out on that. Okay,
Okay,
so
because
you
I don't want
haven't
to miss
missed
if I
out
have
on
to sign up for
anything.
something. Okay, then,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
then. Thank you so much. Have a
No
blessed day,
worries. Thank
everybody.
you. You too. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Ayomi Dave. Ayomi Dave, could you? Sorry, am I on? Apologies if I pronounce it wrongly.
Hi,
Yeah, go
good
on.
afternoon. Yeah, so
Oh,
what I just want to confirm is I'm actually in the trading and prep firm, and I have
right.
no idea about option trading or anything, and I'm finding it a bit difficult. I think I'm
Hmm.
just too weak. I've gone through the video on the vault and all of that. So I want to ask, is it possible to migrate to, I think the other community is more beginner friendly to the one Mia was talking about, whereby
Yeah,
there's a
certainly. Certainly. I think admin can assist with you. Could you shoot an email to just reply an email so admin can support you if you're in the training community. And I think
okay,
ultimately the advice is always to make sure that you've consume and watch those videos so you're fully aware so that when you come you can catch up. We're also revamping the community where we want to make sure that we're getting classes a bit more frequently, live sessions a bit more frequently so people, beginners, can capture maybe like on a Sunday, for example. But I think that's something we'll look into to say maybe get a session on a Sunday evening before the market opens so everyone knows what they can ask questions so you can obviously continue. But send an email to admin. That way
okay.
we
Thank
can
you.
support you. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. AK Ibrahim.
Hi, good evening, Charles and Mia. Thank you so much for the insightful evening.
I
Yeah, so my question is the initial subscription, does it stay like that or the price goes back to the original price after the quarter, after the 3 months?
you are you asking about the subscription? Say there's a promotion. I think you get a code, right, Mia? The email set up.
Yeah,
You get a
I just seen that on my email. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it said for the quarter, or if you do it on this call. So is that going to be like after 3 months? Is it going to be like what we got offered today, or it's going to change after 3 months?
so the offer you got is quarterly. So the promotion is on the quarter, and then it changes normal. Mia, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, trying to keep me honest
Yeah, it
here.
changes back to the regular rate after the
Yeah.
quarter. So this is a one-off rate to get you situated, get you into trading. The goal is that at the end of your quarter, you're already making enough money to afford the regular rates of the community. But yes, it does change back to the regular after the quarter. Yes. So this is a
That makes
one-off
sense.
rate. Yeah.
And then secondly, apart from the subscription, I mean, you can always email me the answer, no worries, but what is the minimum or maximum amount we're going to be expected to start trading with?
What is the what, sorry?
The minimum or maximum amount we'll be expected to start trading with.
So this question is always
Um,
asked. Yeah, Mia, let me answer this question. So
okay.
trading, right, as an enterprise, it's your money. You know how much you have. We've mentioned before, it's always a good idea to start small. Okay. So you decide how much you want to have. Ultimately, my advice to every beginner is to start small. So for example, if you want to trade futures, you can get an account for $25 or even $20. You can trade with $20. Okay. Just simple. $20 is, I don't know, what is that? What is it? Well, less than 15,000 now, whatever, 17,000. Just simple. You can trade with that. Because remember, you're learning, okay? As you improve, get more confidence, make more returns, then you can consider ramping up. If you listen, the previous caller said that they already traded futures, they trade with options, they trade with prop firms. That's what you do. You learn because that you're able to sort of build. So I would say as a beginner, maybe $20 is a good account to start with. For futures, using prop firms, okay? For options, I think you can start trading with as little as $200 if you want to with options, because what it is you're going to buy. I think that's because options platforms want you to deposit a minimum amount of like $200, I think, and then you can trade with that. And you can buy options. You can buy $100, $50 options if you want to. Or futures, you can start trading with as little as $20 when you open an account.
And if you join the community, we're going to be starting with the options, right?
Try again.
Once I have joined the community, we'll be starting with options. Like you said, we need to start
Yeah,
with
you
something
can start with
first.
options. Yeah, you can start with options, right? Some people prefer to start with options. Others come and go. Actually, you know what? I feel more confident starting with futures. But typically, yes, options, because with options you have time, so you can take a contract. You can take a contract now that is expiring. I don't know, in 1 week or 2 weeks. So it has time to build, so you can learn and see the money grow. For futures, right? You're trading, buying and selling now, right? And based on how the market is moving. Yeah.
All right. And the offer, does it end with this call or it has a duration?
So you can see in the email that's been shared, it has the duration on the email. Admin would advise. I think so. Sorry.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that properly. I was trying to find that
The
out.
the line is a bit faint, AK, so I'm not really picking up. So the line is a bit. But what did you say
Sorry, I
last?
said this offer, the subscription offer for now, what does it end after this call, or we have like a few hours or a few days?
Oh, you got time. You got time. Check the email. Check your email. You got time. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite reassuring. And but so once we've done, we have to do the subscription to be in the community. Yes or no?
Yes.
Anyway, I mean, everything sounds good so far. That's not a problem.
All right.
And is it
Sorry. I
only
think we
for
had a few.
females? Sorry, is it only for females?
Yes. I mean, it's the girls' manual.
I
Sorry,
mean,
it's the
yeah.
girls' manual. All right, good.
I'll send an email to admin anyway regarding for the
Yes.
questions I have. So no problem. Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
good.
Charles and Mia.
No worries. Okay, so I
Thank
think
you.
we're almost there. All right, one more question, and then we can jump. Temi Dio, you are on your iPhone. Temi Dio. Oh, wow. I think she's raised her hand. I don't maybe she's away from her phone. Well, listen. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate time. Mia, over to you for the
Thank you.
final words.
Yeah, thank you so much, Charles. Thank you, everybody. We're like, so grateful that you took your time to join us today to learn. Like I said, right, the whole goal of this session is I want you to take these skills. I would love for you to join our community, but again, if you are like, oh, I don't have the funds, like, but I know how to do things myself, you can take all of what we've taught you today. You can go on YouTube, you can go learn, you can go do everything that you want by yourself. The whole point of community is with community, you grow faster and you grow quicker. That's what community does for you. And that's why we're talking to you about our community. But if you feel like, no, I don't like to be in a group of other people, we've given you enough that you can take back and decide that starting Monday, I want to start paper trading, right? I know, I have enough information now. I can start to paper trade. I can start to put things together because that's what I want for you. That's what Charles wants for you, right? We've been giving out free information for many years, and I'm not going to stop giving out free information that is going to help impact the lives of women. Because for us, I believe in the fact that when other people around me are growing, that is the best form of wealth accumulation that we can have as a community. I want a community of Nigerian women that are very successful, that are making good money, that are right here at the top of their career and the top of their finances. That is all we want. So whatever path you choose to get to that end goal, I'm always going to support that. So that is why I said, again, we would love for you to be in the community. We would love for you to come join us as we walk through this. But if you feel like that's not where you're at right now, that's okay too, right? But thank you all for taking time to join us this Saturday. And I wish you all the best in your trading journey. And if you've decided to join us, we'll see you in the room. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye.